This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
That's awesome.
Okay. Manny?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Open Comms, Origin Comms. I'm your host, Manic Velocity, actually the new owner of the Open Comms. So we're changing the name to Origin Comms with my co-host here, Rain. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Manic?
I'm doing great. We also got Drayden, who is also in Origin.
How's it going? Your mic's a little loud. Your gain's up high, I think.
Is my microphone loud? I'm so sorry.
It's popping, boss.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'll back off of it. And we also have Brisk Rubal.
No. Talk close to the mic.
Okay, I'm gonna step back here.
No, Manic. No, the closer you are, the quieter it is.
Just.
Okay. What if is this okay, Drayden?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm new to this streaming thing, so I need your help. Sorry. We also have Brisk Rubal. Am I pronouncing that correctly from the initiative?
You are. Please don't hurt me.
Okay. The only one not in Origin, but we'll forgive him.
I feel like I just had a gate camp in Tama. This is bad.
So you recently had you debuted your campaign ad for CSM, which I personally loved, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh.
It was exciting. We finally got it done. It took me about a month to get the thing finished, but I'm happy that we finally did it.
Dirk's
like
reclaiming.
Like
Dirk. Okay, now I'm switching over. It's switching over. All right, Manic, leave.
Difficulty.
All right, Dirk, how's it going?
Did we get this fucking show back?
I think so.
What the fuck?
What the fuck just happened?
I give it to Rain. I give control of the show to Rain, and next thing you know, it's been completely
Well, then she
fucking
gave it
taken
back
over.
to me.
Well,
But then
Manic, it's fine. It was
I gave
Well,
it to
I
Brisk.
had it once. Who gave it to Manic? What the fuck just happened?
I feel like
wait.
I MJD'd away and made it out. This is great.
Oh, the holy Christ, man! His freaking mic. Wow, that was like. How is your mic better if you snuggle up next to it, but if you back off, it goes complete like.
I don't know.
Shitsville.
You're lucky I figured that out right away. I'm good at puzzles, so like if we could kind of like get through that.
Rain,
Maybe it's his
Origin
hacking
CEO.
techniques. Whatever he did to the stream fucked up his mic.
That was kind of a funny little spoof there, you know. I mean, you know, and it just kind of went with the week, right? I mean, you know, just that whole thing of that whole Reddit post and whatnot. Can somebody explain kind of what that was that happened with that whole Black Legion or Origin or whatever the hell it was, and you know, Elo quitting
It was a
again.
ruse cruise, Dirk. You know what it was.
No, I know it was a ruse cruise. I'm just trying to understand kind of the origin of it, so to speak.
So if you guys want to know, as somebody who kind of initiated this, there was a bet, and Elo Knight once said, "I'm a man of my word. I will never back off of a promise." And one time he said, "If Tiana Stark joins Origin, Rain, I'll give you CEO." I was like, okay. So sure enough, like a couple weeks ago, Tiana Stark joins, and she's like a great Logi FC, like great person overall. So it's like amazing. So I kept bugging Elo. I was like, Elo, where's my CEO? Elo, where's my CEO? Like, give me CEO, give me CEO. And eventually it turned into you made a bet to like, hey, just trust me. It's like a trust fall. It's like an in-game trust fall, right? Like, pass me CEO, right? So
this is like when people like give you an alliance tournament ship and you just sit there in it and.
So he does that, and so the first thing I do is start changing everyone's titles. Like I still think there are some people with their titles, and So I immediately did that, changed people's titles, and then he's like, oh, well, now you have to give it to Blaster. And so apparently, like, it was like a trust fall triangle, so I give it to Blaster, who keeps it for like maybe 12 hours. And Blaster really likes Tiana, so he gives it to Tiana, and Tiana just keeps it. She's like, you guys need to cut this shit out. It's really fucking annoying. And so all the guys start behaving and like calming down and all this shit, and so she gives it back to Elo, and now we're not allowed to trade CEOs anymore.
All right, real quick, there was a bunch of subscribes that we were doing the thing, so Cypher. Oh, Cypher's also here. We didn't introduce him. Cypher, how's it going, man?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Cypher.
Hi,
here.
Cypher. Welcome.
Hi.
Chife3R. So resub for 27 months. Thanks, man.
No problem,
there was a
man.
couple others. Hold on. Let me find them. We had... I know there's at least one more. Okay, Ingress. Ingress resub for 20
Ingress, yes.
Okay,
20
thanks,
months.
Thank you. Thank you, Ingress.
But anyways, yeah. So this week Chifer's here hanging out. Chifer, see, I fucking say it now. I can't like not say it. Cypher's here hanging out. But Brisk is back this week. Brisk actually asked. He's like, hey, he's like, yeah, if you guys don't have anything going on, he's like, I'd be happy to come back. I think he really enjoyed himself last week, and see, it's like it can be enjoyable being around here once in a while.
Exactly.
It's really
look,
weird.
this doesn't have to be a CSM thing. I just want to hang out with
No,
you guys.
exactly.
I got an excuse to drink with my friends on a Friday night. I'll take it.
See, there you go. And we do have Grath coming. Grath is, I don't know, he said he had a meeting somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, so he's going to be a little bit late, but he will be coming on to tell us about how him and his gang were victimized in the course of the last week. So there are some things that we're going to talk about as the night goes on. But yeah, we're just going to pretty much, man, I even sent a fucking tweet out today about let's just say that you were doing a show kind of tangentially about EVE Online, sort of in a way, like what would you talk about this week? Like people were actually coming up with stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's really too deep. And like a number of the things, I swear, it was almost like, we do like 52 shows a year, and we've been going almost for 7 years now. And it's like some of this stuff, it feels like, well, number one, everything with EVE, it feels like we've always talked about before in one way or another, but I don't know.
No, we touch a wide range of topics, right? But the only thing I had this week,
something current,
right? The only current thing I had was, we really don't talk about fleet fights or large battles in nullsec, but the only thing that caught my eye this week was the Triumvirate's back, and I guess they had a nice big fight, and there was
they weren't
600, 700.
They were dead. I mean, yeah,
they weren't dead, but and here's a funny story. Is the week before FanFest, I was at like some beer fest here in Vegas, pretty big one, and I just walking around, of course, and this guy's got a red Athanor shirt on. I'm like, EVE player, so I got to go up and talk to the dude.
The horrible EVE Vegas shirt from last year.
Yeah, the horrible EVE Vegas shirt. So of course I got to talk to the guy, and I figure out this guy's in Triumvirate. I'm like, oh, cool, and I'm like, aren't you guys kind of dead? And he goes, no, today we just had a alliance meeting. We're coming back. So this was the week before FanFest. So that's like 4 weeks ago. So like, here they are popping up on a big nullsec fight. So hey, maybe they are quite back.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago when they were defending that Keepstar down there, and they were engaged in the whole the whole war out there and whatnot. I mean, so it's not like they've been gone all. I want to say gone. They haven't been gone.
Well, about 8 months, 9 months. Well, the CEO is. Well, the CEO, he's military.
Long? Really?
No,
yeah.
It hasn't been.
No, he went on deployment.
Well, hold on. Are you talking about Triumvirate?
Yes.
No,
the CEO.
No, because Triumvirate, it was literally like 2.5 months ago or something like that they were defending that Keepstar down there.
Wasn't that short? God, my short-term memory's gone. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't that like even in EVE years, it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, so oh my God, freaking Aerox, where you been, Aerox? I was looking for you today in Discord. Did you disappear or something? Anyways, yeah, so I don't know what the fuck's going on this week that is like kind of newsworthy, in a way. You know what? Just right off the jump, I want to give a shout out. And we might as well just as I scroll up into my thing here, you know what? I'm just going to give a shout out to Andrew Groen.
He meant the
Groen.
Heard groaning.
Groan.
Andrew
Right?
Groen.
It's Groan. Anyways,
growing.
With that Kickstarter that finished up, obviously it met its initial lowball kind of goal, like in the first hours, I think it was. But it ended up with 2,643 backers who had pledged $169,160 to the next installment of Empires of Eve. So it's
That's awesome.
I'll drink to that.
Drayden for the 32
really
months. Welcome back,
big.
Drayden. Appreciate the sub.
Yeah, no problem.
It really is pretty big. So I want to give a shout out to him. I did in fact back it to be able to get a hard copy of it.
Yeah, same here.
But wow. That's
great job, everybody.
That's a lot of money. It's very reminiscent to another dollar amount I recall hearing at one point in time. But woo!
Josh.
Now I am glad that I did back it for the part where I get to go on a fleet with him, and then also on the yacht.
Nice.
The yacht.
Reek87 just subscribed for the first month. Thanks.
Reek, welcome.
And I don't have any shots tonight, so whatever. I'll just guzzle a bunch of the beer I have here or whatever. It was a real fucking busy week, and I cleared out what I had last week, and whatever. I just didn't get there.
No car accidents, no car troubles this week.
No car accidents or troubles this week. Now, still dealing with the fucking insurance company and whatnot. But they're paying
on the car.
Bought a brand new car. My daughter, my daughter and another car backed into each other in a parking lot. In under 7 days of having the new car. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a rough couple of months with cars. Which is what makes me, and some people have heard about the numerous things that have happened with us in cars, but none of them have happened with me in the car. So now I'm with kind of the ranting I've given about people, making sure they drive careful and all that kind of stuff, right? It's now I'm every time I'm out there driving around, I'm sitting there going, can't let it happen to me. Can't let it happen to me. Because then I'll just get ragged on by them. But
well, I think there was some CCP news though this week. Just minor stuff, like we're talking about. I think there was the CSM voting, right?
Yep. So they announced when CSM voting is. I mean, we have Brisk here. I don't know how I pronounced your last name.
Ruble.
You got it.
But no. So I know we talked about how this year it's not going to be 3 weeks. So now it's June 4th through June 12th. So make sure, actually,
June 4th through June 11th, yeah.
Through June 11th. So make sure,
Now,
and that's Eve time.
I was surprised how many days they gave us, because Dirk and we were talking about this last week. I think we thought it was only going to be a couple of days, but that's a whole week.
Yeah, there had been mention, in the original dev blog that they came out with. Number one, they put that the election was going to take place in either late April or early May. Which seemed a bit odd, given that they were going to release the names of the final, of the actual candidates at FanFest, right? Which was in that earlier part of April. It seemed a bit odd that maybe they would be, so quick as to late April, early May.
Yeah, but they'd also mentioned that they were going to give a few weeks for campaign time. So if they weren't going to announce them until FanFest, it was kind of guaranteed it was going to be a while.
But that's what
that wouldn't have worked.
But that's what was in the dev blog. Was it literally said late April, early May for the election
because they knew
itself.
when FanFest was coming up, and they knew their model they were going to go with.
So so it was all kind of weird. And then somewhere it got mentioned that it was only going to be 4 days of voting. I mean, they're obviously trimming it down from the multiple weeks that it used to be. But at some point there was I believe some mention of 4 days or something like that of voting. And we've at least got a full week here. 7 days of voting. I mean, look, not that we need any more than that, but you know what?
Right.
Depending on how it falls. And I forget how June 4th through 11th falls, or I don't know. If you happen to just be away for that week or whatever, then
but here's the thing: it's you can vote with your phone. I mean, everyone
it's on the
is
website.
connected.
You got to log into
your
account.
That's not it's not you can send absentee ballots or anything.
Honestly, isn't that when usually summertime is in Iceland and CCP is a lot of their employees are on vacation at that time?
Yeah, so that's why they said they want to push the election back, because otherwise you have the winners announced at April, and then all of the devs, just finishing whatever they had for April, May release, and then getting ready to go on vacation. So CSM is wanting to get this information when wanting to do introductions, and this CCP is off doing things.
CSM saying they wanted one more month on top of the extra
real
months
quick. Sorry, we didn't announce it. Grath has been here for like 10 minutes, and
Oh,
Listen, it's fine. It's fine.
was he here when I said he's going to be here in a little while?
No, he came
No.
in like 3 or 4 minutes after that. I dragged him up
okay.
here, but you were in the middle of talking, so I didn't want to like cut you off, and then I forgot to announce him. But how's it going,
My
Crab?
grandma raised me right, so I didn't cut you off either.
Yeah.
You could have come in and said, "Hey," or not.
Usually open comms. Hey,
Hey, Graf.
I was just gonna say,
Hi.
hey,
Are
Grab.
we expecting tie-dye in this fight at all?
Is there a fight? Are we gonna have a fight?
Yeah, if we do, is there gonna be tie-dye?
Yeah.
Do you need for there to
I
be a
got
fight
it
to have
now.
tie-dye?
I got it now. I got the fucking Amazon connection thing. Like,
So sorry.
I was like, this is like the censored Grab. Like, what happened?
I
during the
was
fight?
a little slow in the uptake, and it's not the first time either. Like for like days afterward, people would be like, "Hey, Graf, what's the weather tomorrow?" And I'm like, "What are you asking me what the fucking weather is? I don't live at your house."
What the-
You're like,
Yeah.
hey, Graf,
But
will
that would be
CCP
perfect.
That response is the perfect
That's
response.
exactly what they're
It's
looking
so
for.
funny.
That is the perfect. I'm like, hey, Graf, will CCP ever? No.
Yeah.
Go fuck
yeah,
yourself.
So, yeah, exactly. And then it
Yeah.
takes a little while to sink in, so it's fine.
Honestly, those were great commercials.
I think they were
Wonderful
probably
job.
the best in the whole. They were so.
That was
We
my
did,
favorite
like, a
thing that
lot.
came out
We
of
did a
FanFest,
bunch.
to be honest. That was better than the Abyssal shit.
And I had to keep them like quiet for a long time. Yeah, and Manic is the one that did all the actual effort. I just sat with fucking Opus and recorded a bunch of the shit. The best part is most of those were done in like he would just ask me a question and I would just shoot the response back at him.
Yeah,
And then
but-
we'd die laughing.
But what's really funny about that is how many people were asking, is this something Graf did, or were these outtakes of Graf, out there recorded
Yeah,
and whatnot?
yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, okay? Like when you listen to those, every last one of those fucking things, Graf may or may not have said.
Well, it's like-
actually on some recording somewhere, at some other time.
Yeah, because when I heard them, I was like, I bet they were made for, like, I bet they were recorded for these ads, but at the same time, like, you could go find, like, SoundCloud clips or something and just cut. I mean, like, I wouldn't put it past Manic. He'll do that. He'll go find, like, sound clips and put them in somewhere, but.
He's got so many more. Like I said, there's like a bunch more that we did. Some of them are probably pretty inappropriate. Some of them probably were like screened by CCP and went, nah, probably not so much. They asked me what a bitter vet was, and my response I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I bet
say,
the game company probably wouldn't like the
Well, what
Okay,
did you
if,
say?
if they deny him, I was like, so there's more. So we're gonna have some new ones for the AT then, right?
Manic usually switches up his ideas, so I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
If they ever ask me
Yeah.
to do them again, I'm more than happy. They're fun to do, and like Opus is fun
Yeah.
to work with and stuff like that. and
They're
Manic does a
funny,
good
but at the same
job.
time, it's like if you read it, it's the same thing. It's kind of like the Geico. They rode that
Nope.
caveman commercial way
Just-
too long.
Sometimes you make a good commercial and it ends up being for some asshole to get a yacht trip, and sometimes you make a good commercial and it ends up being funny and putting the Alliance presentation.
It's
Just the way it works.
Boom! Fucking
There
hammer
you go.
dropped.
But the other thing I want to give a shout out for, because oddly enough, this would have been one of the lowball things that we totally should have hit last week. We talked all the way around it, but never actually said it. But happy 15th birthday, Eve, online.
Haven't we been saying
mean-
that for
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
now?
Wait,
How did we miss that?
Well,
But
we talked about things that were related to it, but on the Friday night when the actual anniversary was on Sunday, we didn't mention it during last week's show. That, by the way, everybody, Sunday is Eve's 15th anniversary. Like we were talking about, when to get your goodies and make sure that you're an Omega by such and such date and all that kind of shit, right? But we didn't actually bring it up on last week's show that, hey, in 2 days, it's the birthday, or it's the anniversary, or whatever the hell you want to call it. So happy 15 years officially, plus a couple days now, belated, whatever.
In a completely unrelated note, I'm almost July 7th, I think it is my decade in Pandemic Legion. I wonder what I'm going to turn off.
MPL.
Congrats.
full decade. Nice.
Well, there's obviously some rigs that you don't have to, pull out or anything, but
Already replaced.
already replaced.
Already replaced.
And
And I actually had my 10-year character birth back in March, but yeah. So
Grath, I was
Oh.
excited to find out that you used to be an SDK back in the day. So we have.
Yeah,
something in
I
common.
was.
That's nice.
There's a fun
Mm.
story if you want to talk, like if they want me to tell it from my time in STK.
Go ahead.
All right, so I
Go.
was there. That's where I actually started FCing. They were part of Empire and Fatal up north when
Right.
a group that Mercenary Coalition installed after they bulldozed the north. And we got kicked out, and we were looking for a home, and the goons kind of said you can live in Paragon Soul. They were fighting down south, fighting Bob and stuff like that. So they reformed an alliance called Blackout. It was the worst name humanly imaginable, and they stuck us in the ass end of the universe, and it kind of sucked. But across the bridge from us over in Period Bases lived Mercenary Coalition, and we'd skirmish all the time and stuff like that. And I actually ended up leading a fleet that Mr. V came on, or not Mr. V, Vilerat came on, and we went and fought them, and we fought Gods of Night and Day, and we did all this other stuff. And he sucked me out of STK for about a month while I joined Goons for him, and I just didn't like that so much, and I came back. And I brought a buddy with me. His name was Skeletor. And I left. I ended up leaving SDK again to go to Mercenary Coalition. Like, I beat up MC guys enough that they liked me and invited me to come play. So I left, and I left Skeletor there. Well, they made Skeletor director over time. Like 6 months went by, and they made him director. Bad
idea.
Yeah, nobody ever asked me if he should be a director or anything else like that. And this guy's a Mormon, like an actual Mormon from Utah. This is the moral of the story at the end will be never trust a Mormon.
Don't trust a Mormon.
Right. That's it.
Did he take all your wives? I mean, like, what does it have to do with it?
Well, what he ended up doing is he ended up ripping off STK really hard. Like, he stole a bunch of their shit. And, like, they all came at me like, you know.
I watch Big Love. They're not necessarily against crime or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I guess he stole a lot
more BPOs right now than we do.
Yeah, he stole a lot from him. Like, he stole a whole bunch. And, like, but I didn't believe it at first. And I'm like, I'm from Baltimore. If he meet like, this is a Mormon. Like, that dude's usually probably one of the cleanest people you ever meet in your life. So I'm like, no, he didn't do it. And Sister Bliss started getting really shitty with me. And I'm like, you know, like, this isn't the kind of behavior I expected from a group of dudes that I left as friends or whatever. But I still didn't believe him. And then Faction Warfare launched, and Skeletor, I made a corp for Faction Warfare, and Skeletor's like, I'm going to come over. And he joins my corp, and on the first day, he dumped everything he stole from SDK in my hangars. And so I instantly stripped his rolls and booted him out of corp for being an asshole and making me look dumb for defending this fucking cocksucker that actually robbed all these people. And
but you kept all the shit, and that's how you started Pandemic.
Well, why not?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I actually contact them to get, you know, to like let them know, like, hey, I got the stuff. And Bliss came at me real hard, like I'm an asshole and I better give the shit back and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, well, that's not the way I would have probably approached the situation if I really wanted all my stuff back. Long story short, I kept that stuff. I sold all the dreads to goons who had whooped a bunch of dreads to like Stain or some shit like that, like a week before, a whole bunch of dreads. And then I kept everything else. Yeah, it was good.
Sorry to cut you off, but Looney Fucker just dropped $50 on us. Thank you, man. Holy shit, brother. Thank you so much.
All I want us to drink.
And that's my STK story. I still don't mind them. I think they're good dudes. That was where I got my start in EVE, as far as doing stuff and yelling at people and going down the pipe past the H.H. Smusky Memorial to hunt the guys that were mining that wouldn't join the fleet to defend us against the people that were roaming into the space. Yeah, it was good. I liked that.
That's what I'm talking about. Where'd you say you were from?
I grew up in Southern Maryland. Like, I was born in Southeast D.C., and then I moved to Southern Maryland after that, and I ended up in Baltimore after some moving around.
I grew up in Glen Burnie, so I'm glad to see
yeah. I lived Brooklyn Park.
Nice. Yeah. Right up the street from you. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, how long have you been in Minnesota?
One of the most violent neighborhoods. I've been up here for 4 or 5 years now.
Oh,
well, I'll tell
okay,
you right
so
now,
not that
the fact
long.
that I got a Glen Burnie with all my teeth and not a mullet is like amazing.
Yeah, no doubt. In fact, like they said
Don Geronimo?
In Brooklyn Park, you were like fucking 60% likely to be victim of a violent crime on any day that ended in Y. And if you went up the road to Cherry Hill, you were dead.
Pretty much. Stay out of town. But it was nice. You drive up the city, go to an Orioles game, you have a good time. Go to Inner Harbor. It was fun.
Yeah, you just don't park on the fucking parking lot that's under all them overpasses, right?
That's absolutely true. Or you're gonna get ganked.
Yeah,
was there an Inner Harbor back then that anybody went to? Like that?
Oh yeah,
like,
the Inner Harbor's been a thing forever.
Kind of a tourist.
No, the Inner Harbor's been there for a while.
I like Inner Harbor.
No, I'm not saying the Inner Harbor wasn't there. I'm just like
no,
was
actually,
there a point where they
Oh my God.
gentrified it, cleaned it up, and like
that was when I was like a little kid
place?
though. Like when I was like fucking 10, I think they fucking cleaned it up.
I think Ray's going to get her Baltimore shot glass.
In the early 80s when I was a real little kid.
I actually lived
from
on
Baltimore,
Delaware Street in
so I
Southeast
have-
DC till I was 4.
I have Old
if you
Bay
really wanna know.
chips. Like they're
Crab
like
chips
so
are badass.
they're so fucking good. It's
What the
so
heck
what
is
I'm
a
talking
crab
about.
chip? Does it taste like
so,
crab?
So no. In Baltimore, they have what they call Old Bay, which is a spice they put on crab
Yeah.
and like other seafood. So these are chips with the Old Bay
You know they
spice,
sell that
and
in
they're
other places
so
now,
good.
right, Rain?
Shut up,
If you
Dirk.
go
No, they
someplace
don't.
and you order crabs and you're not in the state of Maryland, you often have to order Maryland-style crabs. And if you are from Maryland and you go anywhere else in the country and you eat crabs, you will miss home so bad because they cook them like dog shit.
It's awful. If there's no Old Bay on it, I don't
Depends
want
on the
same
type of crab. The fine, the Maryland blue crab, yes.
No.
You can
Blue
order
crab
a
is from like New Orleans.
get a crab cake or a Maryland style crab cake, but not all crabs come from Maryland. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've
They don't
never
have
I'm not
had
it
even
with
talking about the
equivalency.
crabs you don't want. I'm talking about the crabs you do want.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
not-
I've
it's not
never
the type
had
of
a
crab, you ass. It's the type way you cook it.
yeah. I've never had a truly fresh.
No, it's the
crab or
Maryland blue
lobster.
crab that they use for.
If you ever go to the
like,
Northeast, Drayden, you should definitely have like crab seafood. Like that's all I order when I go to
Drayden,
Baltimore.
come to
seafood.
Annapolis. I'll take you to Mike's. You'll love it.
No, no
Mike's the
shit.
official
No, you gotta
Bristol
take Dirk.
Seafood
Dirk's
Oh.
over here
crab
like
shack.
there's no such thing as a Maryland style crab. Dirk's got to go to Maryland, and we got to get a picnic table,
I'm not,
some newspaper,
I'm
2 bushels
absolutely
of
not
crabs,
saying
and a
there's
bunch of
not a
fucking beer.
Maryland style
Oh,
crab. What I'm
man.
saying
Right.
is that Maryland is known for Maryland blue crabs. Okay, the whole like crack it with a hammer,
yeah,
like
and the
bullshit
way
and
they-
stuff like
You
that.
don't
way
need
they
to
cook
crack
them
it
is-
with a
crab
hammer.
cakes.
That's only the legs.
Yeah.
It's almost like France
your
in
fingers
terms
in
of it's almost like
Damn right.
France in terms of cheese and wine and things like that. Like when you go to a restaurant out there, like they won't say a Maryland crab cake, right? They'll say a Maryland style crab cake because you can't say it's a Maryland crab cake unless it is a Maryland crab cake.
Look, I'll tell you right now. You get a Maryland crab cake anywhere outside of Maryland. It's gonna all be fluff and
Yeah,
nonsense.
it tastes like shit.
Crap. Don't even.
I'm gonna be
bother.
honest. I make a pretty badass fucking crab cake because that's because it's all lump fucking crab, but whatever.
Well, that's what you got to do.
You have to. You have to go all fucking lump.
Oh,
You
My
can't, you know.
crabs.
I do
crab
like a little
meat,
bit of
mayo,
filler in there
mustard.
just
Capsular
for flavor,
Mind.
but
Wait,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Capsular Mind just subscribed. Tier 1. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the sub, man.
all that
Thank
being
you.
said, we are so far off the fucking beaten path here, and we've like, I'm not saying we don't have
hungry
anything
now.
to talk about tonight, but like we do have some stuff to talk about tonight. Okay, should we roll? Should we roll? What I personally think is so far anyways, the most creative. It may be the only CSM video advertisement that we've ever seen. Like honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I can't remember a
Reload
CSM
applied last
advertisement.
year, and he definitely had plenty of YouTube advertisements.
I'm not talking about like
Scenario
I'm
had
not talking
YouTube
about
ads,
like,
too.
did you like, roll up something of you playing EVE Online and be like, P.S. I'm running for fucking CSM.
One
kind
of my
shit.
favorite CSM ads is actually Dunk Dinkle's "I'm not running for CSM." I don't know if you guys saw
That was a good
video.
one.
That
That was
was
good.
so good. The fact
You
that
know
he just
what
kept
drove
like
me
he,
crazy
he
about Dunk's ad was that I had started filming mine, and I was like, "Damn it, he beat me to it." But he's not even running.
But do
So
you
I had to throw a
stash?
Dunk
Do you
Dinkle
stash like
reference
little
into my
shooter
ad.
bottles of booze like in every like? I loved how he just like talk like he just. It's so well done. The fact that it's nonchalant, but he just is constantly drinking, and then like he's in his office and he's like, yeah, just walks over to the first aid kit, opens it, and it's full of like Jack Daniel's shooters and stuff like that. He just pulls like a Crown Royal one out and takes a shot. It's actually great. It's
perfect.
Not to be British, but it's brilliant.
Not to be British, but it's brilliant.
Well, they always say that. And every time I say like it's brilliant, they're like, "What are you
Pretty
fucking
fucking
British?" It is
British.
British. No one says brilliant in the U.S.
I like brilliant.
Fucking Kigo says, Dirk, I'll donate $100 next show if you snort a bump of sriracha. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself,
Oh,
you know
don't-
what?
no,
It's not
it's
like
not
all
worth
this
it.
shit goes into
It's not
my
worth it.
fucking pocket and like, I walk out and go buy a fucking Rolex after every fucking show, right? It's like, I'm not sure that it's like, I know the Matani's going, yeah, Dirk, fucking like, do a bump of sriracha. But I mean,
Is that what kids are calling it? These days?
it doesn't all go to us. It doesn't, I don't know. Like, Vegas is a different story. I
Filibuster.
may do all kinds of fucking things out there, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it's late enough. I don't even have sriracha in the house. All I've got is like fucking, like serious hot sauce.
There's one thing I didn't see on the show notes, and you had a tweet out, Dirk, earlier today. You want to talk about that? Because I think that was really good.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about
Okay.
that right now. That is definitely a second hour conversation if we,
Is that
if
us?
we
We're
if we
talking
get
about
to
us?
it. No.
No.
This is about whether or not physical
Okay,
violence.
so let's just
has
preface it.
This is about whether or not physical
we talk-
violence has
You're
led
getting
to
too into it.
society developing itself into a place where
Jesus Christ.
where you
That's
don't
your second hour?
where you don't
Fuck.
I didn't want to do anything.
where you don't
controversial.
verbally address somebody in a video in a game.
All right, so
whether
yeah,
it be a
that's the
video game or
second
not.
hour. All right,
So,
we'll leave that for
talk
later.
we'll talk about that when we're of more sound mind and body. But for now,
Of course.
So we'll save
for
it
now,
for
I
later,
do want
right?
to do.
Yes.
We've already talked about the fact that the CSM voting is happening. So either we're going to roll that video in case people out there haven't seen that video, or we're not going to do it at all. So like you guys make the choice. I'm not saying roll it or not, because
I'd say
one
roll
thing
it.
one thing I do want to say is that the Open Com show has never, and won't endorse a particular candidate or anything like that. You guys know that we've had Sullen Decimus on, we've had Gintana, we've had all kinds of people over the years on, and we don't endorse any of them particularly.
give them a
For
platform.
being voted for. What we do like, though, and I'm going to tell you right now, we like people that come out and can talk, because I think that that's one of the best indicators of whether or not they will be worth anything when they get to the CSM. If they get to the CSM, can they carry on a conversation in a room full of alpha personalities? And so you will see people like that. The fact that Brisk is here 2 weeks in a row is not like an open endorsement or anything like that. What it is he's an individual that can talk, and there may be some other ones out there, but they'll probably like go on a
you know what? And
podcast or something.
Noisy does have a point. He says back in the day, Elise lived on the DJ Big Country show, and this is true, but it wasn't an endorsement.
Well, Elise
did.
did, but Elise wasn't also running for the. Elise did it because he's Elise fucking Randolph, and like
Right.
and then he had a good time for a while, and then he's like, oh man, this is way too fucking much for me. At some point, this is gonna come back and bite me. And
I'm
then-
here. I don't want anybody to think that I'm doing
So
this
anyway,
because I wanted an endorsement. I like hanging out. This is fun.
See, and
I've
that
watched
was
the show
I think we should
forever.
roll that video. Let's
And
roll
that-
the video.
And that is what I
Drayden.
thought was cool
right.
about what
Link-
Chris
link
said
to the-
about,
I
I
actually
just want to
have-
come fucking hang out.
Link me the video. I actually
But I do
have
want to show
thing
it.
set up to show
I do
YouTube.
want to show it, and he came to us like late this afternoon and said, "Hey, what about tonight?" We were already planning on showing the video because it is a creative thing that is related to the CSM election, and this is one of the. I'm going to be honest, people. This is one of the most fucking boring CSM elections in a long time, because it's been thrown off by dates and all that kind of shit, and there's so many incumbents running and all that kind of stuff. So like any ounce of creativity whatsoever will get our attention in this whole thing.
Yeah, hey, blast them, link it in TeamSpeak, and I'll get
Okay.
it rolling. I actually do have a YouTube thing set up to watch.
Oh,
This.
Brisk, do you have it?
I
don't have it. I don't
No,
have it.
I have it. I have it right here. Hold on. 'Cause
Yeah,
I got all
put
my
it in
fucking links.
TeamSpeak. Not.
It's in the fucking show
Well,
notes.
Oh.
here I don't. I kind
can't-
of
I
disagree
can't
that
put it
it's a
in
boring
TeamSpeak.
CSM.
It's in the show notes. It's down there. Scroll down.
Yeah, there it
You'll
is.
see it. It's literally the first link under Brisk had a big week in the CSM.
Side
Got it,
note,
got it, got
while you're getting this already, my race with Jay McClain and Dysphonia 4 in the Spartan race in
Next month,
Minnesota
right?
is next month. And
Yes.
this is me hoping that I don't have a fucking stroke and die.
It's so
Okay,
funny you
well.
bring that up, because I actually DM'd Jay today and said, "Yo, when is your Spartan race with Grath?" And he mentioned
He's
it was
already
next
got
month.
plane tickets. Yeah, he got plane tickets. I'm picking him up from the airport. We got to be there at noon. And from what I can tell, most of the obstacles that I saw look like what I do for a job. So I'm actually thinking Spartan races are just things to make office guys feel like they're not fucking fat and lazy. Because they're like, fill this bucket full of rocks and carry it up a hill. And I'm like, yeah, that was Tuesday. And here, this 80-pound sack, put it over your shoulder and go over here, climb up a ladder, climb down a ladder, climb up a wall, climb down a wall. Well, I do that all fucking day. I might be okay. I have a crushed ulnar nerve, so my left side is about 40% of the strength of my right side, which makes things like fucking pull-ups really hard. I've been doing like my own physical training for like 2 years now to try and fix it or whatever. So I think there might be some issues with some monkey bars, but I can do a lot of push-ups, so it's okay.
Do they still call them monkey bars?
I don't know what they call them.
I don't know what
man.
they call them nowadays. It's like
That's cultural
When I-
sit
appropriation.
Indian style, and like it's like I don't know what anything gets called nowadays.
Yeah. Well, when
It's
I
like
grew
just
up,
try
I
and
hung
say,
I
like,
just swung on the monkey
arm
bars.
over
If that
arm
offends
bars.
anybody,
Right.
then I'm sorry
Alright,
that you're offended by
um,
something so stupid.
All right,
Okay,
so
let's-
you want me to play the thing? I got it ready.
Let's
Go ahead.
roll it.
Go ahead, roll
All
it.
right,
Roll it.
all right. So, just don't talk in TeamSpeak because I don't want it to.
Yeah, we'll all be quiet while you
Yeah.
play that.
I am not
and alliance leader. Not a corporation CEO. I'm not a fleet commander. I'm not famous on Reddit or a Twitch stream celebrity, and unlike Dunk Dinkle, I am not a hugger. My name is Brisk Rubal, and I am running for CSM. I'm a politician. Not in EVE, but in real life. When my corp mates found out about this, they started badgering me, telling me to run for CSM. You can probably guess what I thought about this.
You guys want me to do what? Run for CSM? No, you're on crack. No, I'm not doing it.
The more I said no, the more they badgered me. Over and over and over again, until it became an inside joke, not just within my corporation, STK, but within my alliance, the Initiative. But the entire time I kept thinking to myself, this isn't such a bad idea, is it? After all, I love EVE. I've been playing since 2006. I've done just about everything there is to do in the game. Why not run for CSM? Besides, I think I've got a couple of really good ideas that could make EVE even better. All right, guys, listen. I've got a great idea. Macro jump drives, for capitals.
What the hell? Terrible.
The good news is, my ideas don't really matter. It's your ideas, the players, that matter. After all, the role of the CSM is to represent the players to CCP, not the other way around. And I am firmly convinced that working together, I can bring the years of experience I have representing my constituents in Washington to representing you, the players, in Reykjavik.
Now that I decided I was running, I needed a campaign slogan. But Brisk for CSM. We're going to make EVE great again. He's got that trademark, doesn't he? Vote Brisk for CSM. Together, we can fix it. Hey, look, a whole building full of judges, and they all got hands. Vote Brisk for CSM. Let's end Concord forever. What is this? Polling? Vote Brisk for CSM. We are not going to change Concord at all. On second thought, maybe I don't need a slogan. I mean, after all, Aerith doesn't have a slogan, and that guy wins every time. What I do know is that if I'm elected to the CSM, I'm going to work hard every day to help keep EVE going strong, both for us and for the next generation of EVE players. I'm working on that too. All right, buddy, I need you to get all the ochre out of the Colossal Belt before you mine anything else. Okay? Now, what do you do if you get hot dropped?
You put your drill to the weed too, you light a sino, you speak up in comms.
Good. Now what do you do if you get hot dropped by Hard Knocks?
You put your drill to the weed too, you light a sino, you speak up in comms and pray.
Good man. So remember, when elections start, vote Brisk Rubal for CSM. Fly safe. My name is Brisk Rubal, and I approve this message. Did you know I was a friend of Matterall's?
Okay.
Dude, why is it all fucking like not screen fitted or whatever?
It should have been well, I fitted the screen in the middle, but
Wait, Britt.
It was fine. And
it was
You have
mad.
one window spanned across 3 monitors?
Oh, hell yes. Absolutely.
No, because
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I had it fit the screen. It was on my OBS. It looked like it was fine, and then people were saying it's clipping, so I just right clicked and did fit the screen anyway, and it seemed like it fixed it. So I don't know. That was an OBS thing. That wasn't my fault.
It still looked fine. It was a little clip, but it looked fine.
On my OBS preview, it was fine the whole way through, and so I didn't see there was an issue until people started saying it in chat. But sorry,
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
It was good. It was good.
Watch it on
Don't worry.
Yeah,
YouTube.
It was very America.
Briscoe, I'm still gonna vote for you, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'm an American. Some of my guys were saying this is very American. You have a flag in there. Is this going to be okay for the Europeans?
Couldn't you have stood in front of the Russian embassy or something for a little bit of it?
Right. I mean, what do you want from me? Come on.
But I did think that it was very creative. Well, it took. I was about ready to say it took a lot of initiative. But then that would have been too on the nose. Obviously, you put some work into it. Obviously, you've got some people that are talented in putting a video together. You don't look like the video, making, type.
Thank my campaign staff, Roland Reisinger, and the guys for helping out with the video.
But was it a ridge and all?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was
I
it
did,
what?
I did that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just move on.
He
It's
just
over.
did that.
It was the worst
Was it
attempt.
what?
I tried my best. That-
Original.
I didn't even cut off the
Original.
court
Oh.
name. Just let's all just forget that ever happened.
Oh
I see
my
you,
God.
Hal.
Yeah, no.
And you're making a joke.
We're that's gonna be clipped. Somebody
No, it's
clip
not.
that.
I think I'm actually
Regional.
gonna be like in my starter school court by tomorrow. I think Elo just won't tolerate that shit. But
You know, the DC Zoo is actually, that guy said you should have filmed it at the DC Zoo. That's one of the things I miss most about being back east. You have never been to a zoo unless you go to the DC Zoo, where they serve
pretty awesome.
beer at 11 o'clock in the morning every day of the week.
It's pretty awesome.
I thought the only thing that made anything cool about the DC Zoo was they had fucking pandas.
Nah,
are
man,
you
they got the
talking about?
orangutan highway where they fucking let the orangutans out and they go
And
way
they
up in
fly
the
over
air
the
like,
top of your head.
yeah, and they shit and piss on people sometimes.
I'm
when
not
they're
even-
going
I'm
in
not
They
even
do
there.
fucking
think shit,
touching
don't
that.
they?
Yeah,
There are plenty of good zoos in the United States of
Ooh.
America. The San Antonio Zoo is nice.
Hyper Viper.
the
Hyper-
Yeah,
Brooklyn-
and you know
Oh.
what? You know what?
The
All
Bronx
those
Zoo
zoos
is
cost you
nice.
money, and the DC Zoo is absolutely fucking free, 100% of the time, every day of the week.
They got
Just
lions,
walk
they
in.
got tigers, they got cheetahs. It's pretty
And
awesome.
bears, oh my.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hyper
They got
Viper,
panda
our
bears.
favorite spy, just dropped us $2.50. $2.
well, actually,
hold
wait,
on.
so-
$2.50. Don't freak
Oh,
out.
before I put my
Hey,
fucking
wait,
head down and
wait,
look
wait,
at the
wait.
fucking fridge, what are you saying?
So hey, Hyper Viper and
Thanks-
I
thanks,
tomorrow.
Hyper Viper.
Hyper Viper and I
Thanks, Hyper Viper.
have the monthly Eve meet up tomorrow, and it's going to be at Rebel Republic 702. It's on 3450 West Sahara. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing Eve shit, and we'll be watching the Golden Knights tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Rebel Republic. So anybody in Vegas or anybody close to Vegas coming into town, we're there tomorrow. Come on and hang out with us.
Nice.
What I will say about this, what I will say about Washington, D.C., since we're kind of like semi on the subject of like, where zoos are and shit like that. This whole thing of 2019 and where the different fan fests are going to be, right? We already know where all the fan fests are going to be except one, and that is
Right.
the East Coast North America one.
I think it's because
there are a lot of people out there that are talking about places like Florida. There's some people talking about places like Atlanta, New York City, Boston,
DC.
right? All this kind of shit. Okay,
DC.
right. I am going to say this, okay, as a one-off event, okay? And number one, it all depends on what time of year they have it anywhere. You do not want it to be FanFest East Coast August and be anywhere near Florida, right? You don't
Washington.
want it to be January or
That's like
February
breathing
and
soup.
be in Boston or New York or anything like
Right,
that
right.
because it's fucking cold and completely out of line, right? But assuming weather
Loony fucker.
doesn't make a thing,
Again,
it might actually be kind of cool to do
Another
a
one.
Washington D.C. because of the other the things that you can see and do there. It would be kind of cool, I think, based on an Eve audience. That if you could run something there and somehow hook up with, I don't know, a private tour of the Air and Space Museum or the Goddard Space Flight Center
You
or
want to go to
something
the
along
Dulles
those
Air
lines,
and
right?
That'd be
Space
so
Museum, the one out by
cool.
Dulles.
That's right near my house. That's
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that you can
Huge.
kind of mold to it to where it like makes it kind of really so like my vote based on not kind of the weather conditions or anything like that, the time of year and stuff. My vote would be for a Washington D.C. because I think then it really kind of truly does sort of become kind of Fan Fest America sort of thing, and if it's a one-off sort of thing, Washington D.C. is not a bad place to
It's
have
probably
it
not.
from that perspective, and Washington D.C. Central for that East Coast
There's
area.
so many things. I mean, Harper's Ferry. Come on, that's so cool.
It's also
Alright.
got mass transit that can't be like I've worked in 37 states and no mass transit system, not even like New York City's or anything like that. I don't think. It's just not as comfortable as DC's. Even though I'm told now that
25
since I
loony
left,
fucker.
the metro
yeah.
is sucking a lot of ass.
I
It's
was
been crapping out, Grath, but it's still.
But you
the
guys-
best thing I've ever been around.
I
Like,
was
if you got to
50?
drive in DC, you're looking at a
Fucker.
2-hour commute no matter
Yeah.
where the fuck you're going.
Correct.
yeah I
Like,
was
if
today.
you mass transit, it's 40 minutes tops.
I was just gonna say like Looney Fucker just dropped another $25, so thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm Drayden. I'm a big mouth.
No,
I'll
no,
talk
no,
over
no.
you
I was
all
waiting
day.
till you guys were done. It's fine. He's hanging around. But what I was gonna say is, it's hard for them to specify location because what is it like? All the Eve Northeasts that they've been doing which is essentially what that fan fest is gonna be like the equivalent of. It might not be in the Northeast, but like the Eve Northeast is like kind of like the replacement of that meetup, I think.
No, they said Eve. They said Eve East Coast. Therefore, it could be.
It could be in the South. I know,
it
but
could
I
be
know.
fucking Nova Scotia, Canada. For all
I know, but
right?
I'm.
It could be Toronto. Like
So
Right.
Eve Northeast.
they mean
Right,
the
but-
eastern side of the
Eve
northern
Northeast-
hemisphere.
So-
Eve Northeast this year has a destination and a date. Did you guys see that?
Right. Well, what I'm
Yes.
saying is like I'm not saying it is Eve Northeast, but I'm saying
Rain,
Eve
when-
Northeast.
We talked
became,
about it a couple weeks
Eve
ago.
Northeast became a big thing.
We did all. I didn't
And
see
so
that.
this is kind of like an East Coast U.S. equivalent fan fest. But the thing is, like, Eve Northeast was, other than like the last 2 years, it's never been in the same spot twice. The last 2 years they did the same camping spot, didn't they?
Here's the thing that you have to think about. Okay, look, while everything else out there, okay, is being hosted at what are kind of the largest events that are currently right. So Amsterdam and London and Berlin, Vegas, obviously, Eve Down Under. I forget if there's another one out there. This is new. This doesn't necessarily need to be at a place, because on the East Coast, there is nothing that rivals the size of those already established kind of big ones out there. So this is sort of an out of the blue, one time only. Maybe it, creates something out of nothing or whatever. Eve Northeast would not be the one, because you're not going to sit there and tell everybody, hey, come to this fucking camping thing, even though I enjoy it immensely, okay? That's not probably going to be the thing. All of the rest of the East Coast ones are not big. Boston, Atlanta, all these things. So there's nothing you can latch onto to sit there and say, well, this would obviously be the East Coast flagship one, right? So you can sit there and come up with something that says, as a one-off, where would we do it?
Well,
and as much as I'd like to say Norfolk, Virginia, or something like that, or Philadelphia,
probably be New York City, just because they have the resources and they're used to doing that. And
but so
everybody
does
wants to go to
Washington.
New York.
Hold on,
DC's
there
a
are so
big
many
city.
places on the East Coast that have the resources to be able to do it. You could do Eve Atlantic City. Like if you wanted to do an East Coast version of Vegas, you could do that, right? Like you can do all the Boston, New
easier to get
York,
to New York,
Washington
that's the
D.C. The whole corridor, almost all the way down 95, has places along it that have tourist attractions as well as accommodations to be able to kind of put this all together.
And
right?
the thing is, like, it's the East Coast. So, like, there's so many.
It's the East Coast. We were here first.
Well,
Eve, Jersey
yeah,
Shore.
but I mean, like,
Except for the people that were here first.
God. There you go. LBI
okay,
for,
but like the East Coast has so many big cities.
Eve, Jersey Shore, bitches.
It's like if you want to do like an Eve meetup in the East Coast, like you have New York, you have Philadelphia, you have Boston, you have DC, you've got like all like Miami, you got Atlanta, you got all these big cities over there.
The National Harbor still has that brand new casino.
I'm not
complex,
saying-
it's
Exactly right.
fucking
I know,
state of the
I
art.
know.
Baltimore,
County,
you got that
I'm
one.
not saying which is better, but like if you like Eve West Coast, like you got what Seattle,
Oh, bro, you know where they should
Seattle,
have it?
Portland, San
Bro,
Francisco, and
Ruben, they
LA,
should have it
and
at the
San
fucking
Diego,
Tiki Bar.
San Diego. San Diego.
Vegas.
That's what I'm
It's,
saying.
it's like
Right, you're right.
you have
That's
like
what I'm talking
5
about.
big cities in the entire West Coast. You have like 20 times that many big cities on the East Coast.
But
Well,
again,
so
I come back to the
Maryland
whole
has a
thing
place
of
called the
depending on
Tiki
what
Bar
time
that
of
is
year it
absolutely
is.
famous for its opening in the spring. They like have to truck in new cops to like patrol this tiny little island that this place happens
it's great.
in. But it is the fucking best bar you will ever go to in your whole life. It's called the Tiki Bar. If you're ever in Maryland and you're
Gotta
there in
do
the
it.
summertime,
I like
you
tiki
gotta
bars.
stop by. You can come by boat or by car. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking
awesome.
great bar.
If it were, look, if it were up to me, it wouldn't be fucking East Coast at all. And I live on the fucking East Coast. Okay, the one thing that we have been needing for a very long time to complement Eve Vegas is Eve New Orleans. Okay, but that's not
Mardi Gras.
East Coast.
Oh,
That's
February.
Eve
man.
South Coast. Maybe they want to do Eve
man.
South Coast.
Oh man, Mardi Gras. You know how many bead necklaces I would get?
No, it's not. Hold on, because the other thing you have to remember is most of these things tend
Not
to happen
buying 'em, Rain.
not in the
Getting
prime time part of the year, right? Like, so it's not going to be in a prime time New Orleans time, right? It's not prime time Vegas time when we do it out in Vegas, right? It's certainly not prime time tourist time up in Reykjavik when they do Fan Fest up there, or in a lot of these other places. It is kind of just on the cusp of still off season, but not yet full blown tourist prices. which is good. They probably need to keep it like that in terms of, you know, trying to attract, you know, clientele and being able to get the deals that they can on hotels and things like that. But if anybody thinks that they need to wait too much longer than in the next few months to make a decision on where it's going to be, they're crazy. Because one of the things that fucked up Reykjavik for next year for FanFest is that they forgot to renew Harpa, apparently.
I thought Harpa was
unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed, but apparently there was something that got messed up with the reconfirmation of Harpa for next year.
Well, there was supposed to be like a 5-year contract, and
apparently
I can't say too much, but yes, there was supposed to be a 5-year contract for Harpa, and that expired like by a week, maybe more in that time frame, so that's why they didn't have Harpa.
All that being said,
but,
guess what?
yes.
If you're trying to book a location for a large number of rooms and the potential for like, and this is what's going to be weird about EV East Coast is since it hasn't been anything that's really big, right? They don't know how many people are going to come. They don't know how many it's going to take away from Vegas next year and all that kind of shit. It's like these are a bunch of unknowns and things, but these are things that they're going to need to book a good year in advance, right? I mean, here we are.
I mean, we do know, we got Australia, we got Eve Down Under. They're going there. That's confirmed, right?
Because
Vegas,
they've been going there. It's generally confirmed. At the same time as it always does.
And Amsterdam was confirmed as
well,
right?
Amsterdam, it's confirmed. Those
Berlin.
3 spots are ready to go.
Berlin would be cool.
No, they've confirmed Berlin. They've
I
confirmed
would
all of them
like,
except Eve Northeast.
I'm
Northeast
not going to go to
area.
Eve Berlin because I don't have the money, but I would love to see Berlin. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm hoping with the volunteer staff, we have some sort of core group that goes to each FanFest in 2019. That is my ultimate selfishness. That's what I've been doing for 5-6 years now. And I would love to go to Australia and help out and organize the volunteers down there. I'd love to go to whatever East Coast one because that's in reach, right? So selfishly, I want to go to all these, but realistically, man, that's gonna be a lot of fucking money. I need time to plan this shit out.
And what if they had Eve, West Virginia, and rolled out the Rorqual nerf during Eve, West Virginia?
We'll do it.
What if they fucked minors at Eve, West Virginia?
Damn.
Oh my god.
You say that like it's a joke. West Virginia is awesome. You got to come visit.
Blue Ridge Mountains. Let's go.
It's actually nice. Yeah.
Does it actually exist?
Well, West Virginia?
Of course.
Yeah. Like I heard,
West Virginia.
There's still coal mines. Come on.
I thought it was one of those myths they taught us in
some
geography.
really hardworking people in West Virginia.
Oh, we call it occupied Virginia here in
Jesus also, Christ. Hyper Viper dropped 50 bits saying brisk for CSM. Of course.
There you go.
But anyways, okay. Just moving on here. Let's see, 15th anniversary, blah, blah, blah. We talked about how the Outpost migration is coming on June 5th. We talked about that not this week, but last week, about how the Outpost migration is coming and how like Pandemic Legion is taking all of that Providence stuff out there and whatnot. Where is Never mind. We'll talk about that another week. Where the hell the Pravi people have gone to? Like, what part of Egypt have they moved to, or wherever they are?
I think they still lurk, man.
Well,
do they
Imperium
still lurk?
took in a group, didn't we? Imperium took in a group from Providence.
Is there like a Pravi sig within the Imperium now?
No, but I thought we took somebody in from there. I don't remember. I thought I saw something. Maybe somebody will put it out there in chat.
Yeah, everybody says they're dead. They're actually, I think they still fight every once in a while too. It might have been. I might be off by a couple.
Did you guys take all their citadels yet?
Are you still fighting them, Breath?
They fight back. Somebody attacks our sub on a pretty regular basis. I'm pretty sure it's them. There's a lot of defense fleets out in the U.S. time zone to stop them from flipping shit over. So they live in Losec now, I believe, right outside of Providence. I mean, I'm sure after everything's done and said and over, they'll probably live in Providence again. It'll just look a little different.
Once all the faction citadels come out and you guys sell them all, then they'll come back.
They'll buy back all their faction citadels.
They won't even have to buy them back. It's just like PL will be like, all right, we got our faction citadels. Unanchor everything, like put them on the market, and you can have your space back now.
People should be doing. All the Pravi block people should be out there right now ratting and mining for income and whatnot, so that when this all goes down, they can just buy back all of their homespun faction citadels and then put them down out there.
I don't think PL wants Pravi. I think PL wants the citadels, and once those come out, they'll unanchor them, and then they'll just abandon the space. And the Pravi guys come back.
That makes you money, right? Like that's always been our shtick.
I'm
Whatever
not saying
makes you money. So,
I'm not saying it's a bad
space
thing.
Makes you money right now.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like that's a smart move. But it's like I would not be surprised if once the faction sales come out and you guys pull all the Citadels up and then just we got to reset for
Lieutenant
32 months.
Dan Extreme,
Lieutenant
32
Dan, thanks,
months.
Dan.
Nice.
Once you guys pull the Citadels, like, are you guys just gonna abandon? Probably that you guys can have your space back now that we got the money out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would. I don't think we've ever just given somebody space back or anything like that. Normally people buy it, and sell it, and find somebody to move into it. Also, Hyper Viper, I had one clone in that Citadel. It was a high grade slave clone for a Damnation. So it had a armored mind link, the high grade slave 1 through 5 in the Omega, and a Zor's hyperlink in it. For that, my alliance reimbursed me 3.2
Yeah, what was it? Well, Elise came out and said, I mean, like, I don't think Elise, like, I feel like Elise is just one of those, like, if he comes out and says, like, this is how much money we lost, that's how much money they actually lost. I don't think he's one to, like, skew numbers, but he said it was, like, what, 300 billion?
See, that's what Elise has been planning on for years.
300 billion in, like, clone losses?
Is that at some point he's going to be able to, after all these years of being truthful, come out and, like, say, and then, like, people like you will sit there and be like, you know what, Elise has never lied to us before. He's got to be honest.
Elise
now.
has never
we
lied
all
in his
like
life.
Spartans.
Elise is a saint. How dare you talk about it?
Like here's the thing. First of all, from the picture you can see, like from the logs that me, of course, showed. Like you can see kind of how many construction jobs were canceled. So it's low. So anybody that's like, oh, you got law, you lost 20, blah blah. Yeah. And that's the weirdest part, right? In that very thread, the guy that has all of the data on exactly what we lost is Validopoulos, he's Cervelius on Reddit, and he posts, Floppy. He posts, I'm the one with all the numbers. I don't know where these numbers are coming from because, like, other than the clones lost, not even me can see. But because Floppy is our service admin, he got all the ESI calls, so he's got every single clone that was lost, what the value of it was, and like all that.
So he's looking at like a solid, definitive number, as far as Eve estimated prices.
So here's the funny thing: 65 high grade clones are what blew up. That's it. But only 64 Omegas. Somebody was an asshole. We know who the asshole was now.
So, hold on. Did you guys use the ESI? Like, who the fuck is skipping on their clones? This piece of shit. Did you guys purge him?
I told you motherfuckers to have high grade
clones. You got just fucking like
the super fleet,
and that of course caused 3 other people to leave and take rigs out of some Satya someplace.
So the super fleet's deployed, so nobody's super clone was sitting in station, and nobody has a spare super clone that's fucking loaded up full of high grade. Or at least we don't have a spare. Some of our supers have spare clones or whatever for purposes, but they don't have like high grade sets in them. That'd be retarded. And even if they did have them, like they wouldn't. There's no reason to keep them in M-O. They would be somewhere else. So like. The weird part is like this, like the first number was 2 trillion. Like Asher's fucking dumb. I want to publicly declare that.
I didn't hear that number.
He eats foam.
I never heard I thought it was 300 billion worth of stuff stolen.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. Headliner is CEO now. Like I stepped down, so I don't get in the way of all of the paper that gets added up. So I haven't even looked to see what the total loss of SNIG assets were. He had access to the logistics hangars and the the hangars for all of the Citadels and stuff like that. And we keep a fair stock around. We're probably like maybe 10 or 15 of each kind of Citadel, probably short of keep stars. And like fittings for all of them and fuel for fucking months. So the potential's there for him to have gotten hundreds of millions in that regard. But like the total clone losses for us was under 300 or under 350 billion, I think it was. Like for as far as paying everybody back all the money that was lost for all the clones from PL.
Well, yeah.
So USRP all those clones.
So you were able to see what kind of clones they had there with what implants on board?
Yeah, because you got everybody that lost a clone, you get a mail when you lose the clone. It lists the exact implant loadout that the clone had, and because of the new ESI tokens, the administrator can see all those mails. Like you can make
it's a mail thing,
right, and you can just parse it.
Yeah, so you
there's a spreadsheet, it's huge.
Yep.
And
well, like, the other thing it was like a couple Titans and some super, like the Titans and supers were like what 300 bill total for all of the losses.
It's roughly like 23 days of rental income is what the theft's gonna.
Yeah. I'm like, well, another thing is like. Everyone's like, oh, look at this big thing.
The thing that sucks is me had been in corp for 4 years, right? And I still, to this moment, don't know because Headliner caught all the shit for this, right? Which is fucked up because I'm the one that opened up on him. Like the second I found, he didn't ping, right? Like everybody, that Reddit thread's like, oh, if they'd only come to save him when he panicked. He didn't tell anybody. Nothing happened. Nobody
Maybe
knew.
He thought he was in goons. He lit a sign, panicked, and
like
said, hey,
I don't understand.
Who's saving me?
What happened was somebody was like, oh, look, a dead Rorqual. And we're like, who is it? And they're like, it's me. And we're like, what? Like, and so I was like he thought a few times, Radin. I feel like he like gets up and, I mean, he's got a new kid. Maybe he's got a family going on. Like maybe he's playing with his kid or something like that. I don't know. Whatever, he dies a lot in ratting and mining ships. And in this alliance, you catch shit. I catch shit when I blow up. They fucking heckle me. There was a run-in joke about me losing worms for the longest fucking time by Penis Smash because I'm bad in worms, it turns out. Like in this alliance, you get heckled for losing. That's just the way it is. Nobody fucking feels terrible in any way, shape, or form about it. I would rather be like, this is not a learning alliance. And so he caught a little bit of grief.
You guys are kind of a new bro alliance in a way.
Yeah. But he caught a little grief. Like, it's super light. I can drop a picture in the fucking chat of every word that was said to him. I was the meanest of all the people to him. Like, I was like, oh, who died in a Rorqual? Why, me, of course, again. And then, like, I put a ping out, like, fucking, I said, from now on, it's fucking Arlie Ermy boot camp for fucking Private Pile. He obviously can't learn on his own, so you're gonna learn for him. Every time he fucks up, you get a punishment. And then that was it. And like Headliner just linked him a bunch of losses and was like, either get better, get your alts out of the corp, or get the fuck out. And the dude lost it. I mean, that's nothing more or less than's been said to anybody else. And I don't understand. I feel like he's been around for a long time. Like, you don't get to be where he's at without being at least trusted. I feel like there's some exterior stresses that we are unaware of. That maybe
what's
with
the
bad
difference?
data
Grant, did you
poking
tell
like
him that he was the cancer that was eating the alliance?
No, yeah, exactly. No, none of that shit. None of that shit was said to him. Like, it wasn't anything like that.
What's the difference between busting balls over just having lost a fucking Rorqual, whatever, who gives a shit, but I'm still gonna bust your balls because that's what we do here, or like literally busting? Like, I'm gonna be honest, there were times when I didn't know the fucking difference in PL. Like I'm not sure if they were really that, and I lost. It was just a fucking battleship at the fucking time, but it's like I lost a thing at the fucking time, you know, and it was more like it was more because of the stupid mistake than it had to do with any implied value or anything like that.
Did you tell him you were Dutch McGurk?
Like you just sit there and
Matterall.
Well, yeah, and I know Matterall.
By the way,
Connie. Okay, I mean, it's like the whole idea of losing something. Like, honestly, I'm not even sure matters to literally anybody playing Eve nowadays. But it is more the idea of busting somebody's nads over just having made a dumb mistake. Like, that's almost all we have left now is busting people's balls.
Yeah, well, I get it, but that is the other thing too, right? Like, nobody fucking cares what he lost. We care that it's like the 9th time he died the same fucking way, right? There's zero attempt to learn there, yeah? Like, and I don't give a fuck how you die. I lose Marauders that are worth 10 billion with the implant in the ship. What the fuck do we care about what you die in? Like, it's not about that. Like, fucking Headliner fed a Rorqual, Doom fed a Rorqual worth like fucking 3 supers. Who gives a shit? It's how you died. Were you doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing? Were you doing something that was easily preventable that would have changed the way you die? And more importantly, is the dumb shit you're doing putting other people at risk, which is what he did over and over again. I just don't feel like.
Well, how did he put other people at risk?
Well, because he keeps dying, people come looking. Like, if you know a guy dies over and over again,
or they come saving. I mean,
you're saving because
we all come looking.
Saving.
You don't. If you chum the water, you put everybody else that's going swimming at risk.
I will say, I thought Doom's Marshal was hilarious. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, like, he caught shit, and like he publicly caught shit. That's the worst part, right? Like, there's a Reddit thread where the whole game basically did to Doom what we did in a much lighter fashion to me, of course, and suddenly fucking like we're the asshole, like we did something wrong. Like, when Doom's Marshal fucking died, it was a fucking 800 comment thread.
Floppy's out in Twitch going, man, all these fucking years you still can't pronounce my fucking name.
He's right. He's not wrong. But it's weird. Like, it's like suddenly, you know, I like I said, I don't know what's up with me. Like, I feel like he hasn't talked to me. Like I mean, he's been in a part of the corp for a long time. Like I haven't spoke to him since this happened, so I don't actually know from his perspective how things feel in his head, and like I haven't made any attempt to contact him. I figure if he wants to talk, he knows where to find me or whatever, but he doesn't. So, I don't know what made it happen like this, but
we've all seen some shit out there where it's like, a particular group or an organization or whatever like does something and it comes back to bite them and whatnot, right? I think that there are some organizations out there that have their shit locked down so tightly that even if they do something that causes somebody to want to do something, they can't do it the same way. Look, I've seen this. I did say do. Fuck it, whatever. Okay, but I've seen some crazy shit in multiple fucking organizations out there where it's like the way that somebody gets treated, they want to retaliate. In this particular case, it may have been that, the way that this person was treated at the time or felt, or that was the trigger at the moment that set them off the, off the edge. But we've seen this in multiple places out there. I mean, I'm not just talking Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I mean, look, I'm not going to fucking say it, but like, right at home, I mean, like, we've seen stuff where had somebody had fucking roles that got treated like that, bad shit could have fucking happened in this particular case.
My ego says I pick better people than that.
6 months. Thank you.
I feel like my ego says that I make better choices in that, and me, of course, was around from when I was CEO. Like, I okayed Beffa's decision to bring him in as a logistics technician.
So you're blaming Beffa? Oh my God, did you just blame Beffa, bro?
Why would you blame Beffa? What the fuck,
She has maple syrup stashes.
So Beffa is the one that vouched him into the roles he get. That's the way it works. You are responsible for the person you vouch into a system. So, the deal is I okayed that.
So is she paying it?
So she paying everything back? Me hangs out on OG comms with everybody else on Friday night, like Saturday night, stuff like that. Like, he's always been around. I feel like I make better choices in a person's character than that, and I feel like I feel pretty good that there's some stress in his life right now that Headliner is unaware of, that when he went off showing him kill mails or something, just fucking flipped his breaker, and that's why he's where it is. Like, I don't know.
What do you say to all these guys who keep saying that PL is done and you guys are not as good as you used to be and all other kind of crap?
I've been in this line for 10 years.
That everybody says every time one of these things ends up on a record.
Yeah, for sure. They've been saying it for 10 years. It's fine.
Look at Rain's flowing hair when she takes her fucking headphones off. She's like, bam, look at my hair.
Headsets are like the size
did she like the head shake? Like the...
No, there it is.
Oh, she didn't even hear it.
See, now it's just back to
everything
Rain
okay?
hair.
Oh.
Rain hair.
Right,
big headphone hair.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Look at that Rain hair.
There it is.
Damn!
There you go.
Back to headphone hair.
I'll be back in 10 minutes. I have to go take care of something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hip hop.
No, not hip hop.
I'm a little late on the draw. I'm a little drunk. Sorry, I'm a little late on the draw tonight,
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like,
take care of hip hop.
The back to what you said, it's not. I don't particularly. It's not my job anymore to care. Basically, what like people say about the alliance that I'm in. I'm not leaving. Like, we pretty much pay our. Oh yeah, for sure.
You're not gonna
bills.
Go, like start.
You don't want to go to Goons?
Provi Legion or anything like that.
I was a goon for 60 days. It was 60 days too long. No offense to them. It was just too many people talking at one time.
SDK is recruiting, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
You should join Origin, Graph.
That I could actually probably get along with Elo, but I like where I'm at. Like, I've been here
we
for
are
10
recruiting.
Years. I don't stay.
If you want an alt,
I've
Graph,
been in this
we'll take
alliance
an alt.
longer than either of my previous marriages lasted. How about
Hold
that?
on.
So
why
I'm
don't
just
you
gonna hang out.
Wait, are you married now, Graph?
We've
No,
already
definitely.
set the hook. We already said that he's like he likes Elo. It's gonna happen.
But like, yeah, how.
Hey, Graph,
what
you going to
matters
Vegas?
most, I guess, is the perception of the people that are actually active in PL right now. I'm active in game. Like, I play by myself though. Like, I don't play with the rest of the alliance anymore.
Graph, are you going to
what do you
Vegas?
do?
Yeah, I am for sure.
You can meet
I need
Elo
to
there,
buy
and then we'll
stuff,
poach you.
I almost
meet Elo
constantly
there.
roam in Marauders.
You know he's met Elo before,
Like,
right?
I try.
Yeah, but Elo was not actively
recruiting
recruiting at the
I
time.
was like, I'm gonna do
Now
this.
he's over 21. So.
And
That's
yeah, I
what
don't
he
like it.
says.
I like Marauders. I like riding around in battleships.
You a Gollum guy?
No, I like my Kronos is my favorite, and Vargr is a second. I hate the Paladin. I don't like the Golem because it's missing a slot and some fitting. Like
I agree
it
with
just
that.
doesn't. It feels naked in the middle. By the time you get tackle on it, there's just no room left for tank. You got to have cap, you got to have tackle, you got to have mobility, and then you're left with like one fitting slot for a tank, and it's like, thanks, fuck you, and you have no fitting left anyway, so it's done.
I can't. I'm a Caldari guy. I can't help it. That's my thing. So I want to shoot missiles and shit. So there's a go.
Wait, Brisk. And you're so I'm getting flashbacks to your YouTube video. Did you mispronounce Reykjavik?
I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm American.
Okay.
It's Reykjavik.
I said Reykjavik. Reykjavik.
Reykjavik. You don't pronounce the J.
Don't
You
pronounce
should
the
just call it
J
that.
and
You
roll
should
the
just call
R,
it
and
that
it's actually
island that
Vik.
Reagan went
It's
to
almost
and saved
the I is not an
Full
I.
Rs.
It's
I
an
don't know what it
E.
is. It's impossible for me to do it.
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik. I thought
No.
I said
Reykjavik.
Reykjavik right.
You said with a J. That was why I was asking.
Yeah,
However, I do want to flip back here because nobody's actually said it. I mean, Grath kind of said it in a little, in a little way. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not going to blame what happened there. Like, I know that people can get their butt out, and if what went down here was the person got their butt out, if Me Too got their fucking butt out about, how he was handled by Headliner. Headliner, to me, is one of the kind of old school, even though he's young, he's fucking super young, like in Dirk fucking years and shit like that. He's super fucking young, but he's one of the old school kind of like, FCs where it's like, it's all about fucking like getting highly emotional and ragey and shit like that over things.
Fire and brimstone.
Fire and brimstone. And, I'm going to be honest. No matter what organization I've been in, okay, whether it's small organizations or large, I like those guys who are, I like those FCs, who are really kind of like into it,
like that.
And they will sit there and like, fucking shit on people for making mistakes. Not overly so, not to the point where it becomes like totally fucking personal or things like that. But having met Headliner, having met some of these other guys out there that are really kind of like, during the time it's going on and what's happening and whatnot, they kind of get veggie and then like, kind of come back to norm. I don't have a fucking problem with that. And I'm sorry, if the thing that causes you to go and shit on all of the other people that are associated with, around kind of the one target that fucking made you unhappy that day.
Who nothing bad happened to, by the way.
Well, it's like
if that's the
man,
worst part. Like if me was really mad at Ed, right? Like if he was super mad at Headliner, this was the worst possible thing he could do to strike back because Headliner lost basically an empty clone, and that's it. That's the only thing that he lost. Nobody's mad at Headliner.
What do you guys say to all the folks on Reddit and everywhere else that were saying that Headliner is toxic and he does this all the time and he's mean all the time and he's a bully?
That's this new soft. I feel terrible that there's a whole generation of people out there that think the world owes them being nice. The world is not a nice fucking place. People are going to be mean to you your whole fucking life. If your skin is so fucking thin that you can't take like any level of aggression at all, like, and that's what it is. They're anti-aggressive people, and it's a whole greater thing about how I think the entire fucking younger generation soft-boiled bitches.
I don't believe that there are that many people who are still left in Eve who have directors roles that are that snowflake. You know what I mean? It's like most of the people who are in any organization out there.
You think that though, but
who are in any significant organization are not the guys that you would have deemed.
I don't think so.
Not the people that you would have deemed to have been. And I've done that twice now, so I hope you all recognize that I'm trying to correct for my pronouns. Okay.
Hold on, Dirk. Wait, Dirk. You say that though. What was the one like heist that just happened recently in PL because the guy got upset that someone yelled at him? Like there's
literally the fucking topic we're talking about.
I know.
It's a result of the whole fucking participation trophy culture. I can't stand fuck.
Who started that?
You used to have a
Well,
football
I'm saying,
coach that could fucking yell at you, and now
saying,
if your football coach yells at you during football practice, he could end up on fucking charges at a courtroom some fucking where because some oversensitive fucking mother's gonna shit her goddamn
but at the same
pants
time,
and her
it's
son
like
got called an asshole.
But at the same time, it's like there are people with director roles that might be sensitive and they might just pull like retaliatory shit because of that.
Yeah, like I said,
So-
and we
so
and
fight
we
me, Dirk.
and we run that risk, okay, across all
Everyone
of the
does,
organizations that are
yes.
out there. But I'm telling you
Every-
right now, I think that I think that like the attempt has been made to make sure that the people that you put into that these are not snowflakes, right? That these are not thin-skinned
He's not-
individuals
yeah, he's
where
not.
one
He's
thing
been
is
getting
going
yelled
to
at
cause
like
them
that
to
for
go
4
off the
years.
edge.
You
I
really
have-
can't vet people like that. You
I-
really don't know when somebody's
because by
going to
the-
go off the rails when you
because
say,
by- because
"Look at
by
this
the-
fucking kill mail, you dipshit."
Because
you're an
by
idiot.
the time that they get into roles in those types of organizations, what you have hoped is that you have kind
They've
of learned
acclimated to the
something
EVE
about,
environment.
learn something about these individuals through talking to them and whatnot. Okay, it's like if you have somebody who due to one kind of occasion, and we don't have any kind of basis here for this may have happened. This person may have felt abused over the course of the years and things like that, right? Like we don't know, right? We don't know if this was an abusive relationship to where they came back and they said, you know what, I've had enough of this, and they just opened fire. Like, you know, it was that one night in bed when like shit went bad, right? It's like we don't know that. What we
don't
heard by the
know that
story
catalyst.
is O'Rourke died and this guy fried, right? But like we don't know. It could have been something more than that. And that is where investigative reporting comes in, and that's why Matterall needs to look into this, because he's he's into that kind of thing.
By the way,
Jesus.
Make vetting great again, which is actually a really good segue into one of the things I wanted to bring up, because last week I mentioned the whole ESI Y2K thing, right? And that
Well,
they were going to be
was it Y2K or was it
Well,
all?
well, you
Like,
know
does a
what?
lot of stuff freak out? Like, I'm
No,
curious.
a lot of stuff. Well, it depends on how you look at it. A lot of stuff didn't, right? Like we knew EveMon was going to do something, and there are people out there saying, "Well, wait a second, EveMon is still kind of around, but it's really not. You would have to go out and get a third-party developer license, and you would have to do some things to it to make it work for you." Okay, so sloughing that aside, what I do want to say is,
Wait. Can I interrupt you real quick? Because Capsular Mind's crying about the fact that we have 3 Imperium members as well as 2 Origin/Black Legion members. This guy's crying the fuck about it, and he's just shut the fuck up, Capsular Mind. Like,
what is he
nobody
mad about?
cares. He's
Whoa.
like,
Whoa,
why
Dirk
is there so
Rain.
much representation?
Dirk
And
Rain.
it's like, no, like, Dirk has flown with PL. We have
Rain,
Grath here
why-
from PL.
Rain,
Like, this
why are
dude's
you
I don't
so...
Rain.
No, I want to call
Like a
out
Dark
someone
Rain.
being a
Why?
bitch in
Apparently
Twitch
Nancy
chat,
got-
so maybe he can shut the fuck up or stop watching the show. Like, I don't care. Stop crying. Either participate in Twitch chat like everyone else, or shut the fuck up.
Who is
Yeah.
this?
In other words, what she's
participate
saying
in
is stop being
Twitch
a
chat like
fucking
everyone
whiny
else.
bitch.
You sheep.
Like, oh no, everyone's from like Imperium. Oh no, like who gives a fuck? Literally,
Oh,
who gives a
yeah.
fuck?
This
No one
show
has
has
come
always
in
been-
here
Oh,
who's hosted on Imperium News and
Rain's
been like,
bringing the-
oh
bringing
no,
the
guys,
shade
it's
tonight.
news. Like nobody gives a fuck. So Dirk, I'll let you
Well-
continue. But like Jesus
Just
fuck,
hold on there,
why
Rain.
is Twitch
Rain.
chat crying?
Hello,
Like is
CCP
everyone
Avalon,
fucking
welcome to
baddies?
the
Like
show.
is it
Avalon,
really
just
all
give
the
it down
whales
just
in
a
here?
sec. Let me back
Hi,
you down just a
CCP
sec.
Avalon.
Okay.
I'll back you down just a sec. It's like
You don't have to
We're all
back me
chill,
down.
we're all
This guy,
fucking kosher.
this guy's being a little bitch. No, I'm not gonna
No,
defend
I
some
know.
shit fucking Twitch viewer.
I don't know
Jesus.
that he's being a bitch. A little bit.
He is
I'm-
being a bitch.
I'm
Read
just saying.
about
I
it.
know.
I feel like
Okay,
Ray's doing
right here.
shots at
Right here,
Tabasco
right here.
sauce. She's hot as
Let's
fuck.
do NCPHPL Darkness Test, brand new newbies, Solar, Legion of Darkness, all those awesome people. I have not mentioned leadership can populate your Twitch screen. Like, no, how about we have the people who have been running the show run the show? Like, I don't think he realizes how many people, like, ally with each other. Like, oh, let's have an NC dot guy and a PL guy because that's so much variety. Am I right, team?
But anyway,
Well, we've had Instant Appeal guy. We've had Matterall and Dirk.
Assume that this is somebody who, like, is not a long time listener, first time caller kind of a thing. Okay, they don't recognize the fact.
What
that,
if it was
well,
a
we are from
long-time
various
caller or
factions
first-time
and
listener?
So, to be
We
fair,
try-
if people
we
are
try
paying
to
attention, I
maintain-
explained
Be
it in
nice
Twitch
to
chat.
him.
I've explained it to him politely in Twitch chat.
We
And then
try
he's
to
still
maintain a
bitching.
level
So, no,
of
people who
civility
are too
amongst
stupid
all
to change
factions.
their
This is, no,
opinion when
look, this is
presented with
easy.
new facts is
Let me
stupid.
explain it to him. As somebody that's not with them, it's easy. The people that want to come on the show come on the show because it's called the Open Comm Show, Capsule. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I just show up. I sit in a room, they drag me up. If somebody else showed up, they drag them up. If somebody else showed up, they drag them up. After 11, there might be 20 people in here saying some inappropriate shit, all drunk. It's fine.
We've
They-
had that
they-
before.
Right. The people that want to
Oh.
come. It's not like a fucking...
All that being said, I had a fucking thought and now I lost it. Thank
Look, I
you.
almost went on
Thank
the
you to all of
conspiracy
you.
theory again.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
The
go. I'm gonna go.
drama
I'm gonna
is
go
real.
like raid Wibbler's cabinet.
Ingress just tipped 100 bits. I think he did it twice because I heard the sound twice.
I heard it twice too.
Wait, how do you hear
So,
it?
I don't remember when Aaron does.
I see it pop up, and I have it on the other side, another screen.
No, I just love when people attempt
you hear
to
it in
argue with me in
OBS,
Twitch
but
chat
I hear it on
and then
stream.
think they're mad shit. Like, no, get the fuck out
But
of here.
you
Like,
hear
stop
it the
crying about
second
your
I hear it.
representation.
I hear it on
You
the
guys
delay.
are being so mean
I
to
will
my
politely.
voters. I don't like.
If
this.
he's your
This is not
voter, I
good.
am so sorry you like have idiot supporters.
Rain.
Hey,
But no, I figured like the rest
that
of
was
the people,
Team
the rest
Speak.
of
I
the
heard that.
supporters
I had to
Can
chime
you
in.
have
call
been
me names
actual
so that somebody
reasonable
can
people.
like Reddit about it?
No,
or-
no.
Hold
Derek,
on.
you filthy fucking whore.
Wait.
You know
Whoa!
Wow.
Just stop.
Rain!
No,
You
Catherine,
Easy.
Rain. How about you shut
We
the fuck
made it
up
in
Rain,
and stop
you
crying?
are not allowed
No,
to.
you shut up and stop crying, you little
Rain.
bitch. Like you're
Alright,
an actual sub and don't
It
even
is
know open
10:20.
content.
It is
Holy
10:20.
shit,
It is
I'm doing shot.
10:22.
It is-
Holy
okay.
shit.
Wait. It is 10. Hold on. It's 10:20. Rain, we've had this talk. You can't call people whores on this show.
Stop it.
You're a whore.
Stop it.
Oh,
I'm a
see,
girl.
Okay.
As a whore, I can call you all whores.
Okay,
okay?
but also,
That's
okay. Anyway, so
Well, we
also,
dialed it
I
back.
dragged Hyper Viper in. Hyper Viper came in. How's it going, man?
Hey, good guys.
Our
How are you
favorite
guys?
spy from the Imperium, the Black
He asked me
Hand.
a dumb gay
The Black
question
Hand
earlier. I don't remember
himself.
what it was.
He's the head of
I
the-
think I might have ignored it.
Are
Do you know
head of
those
the Black
times?
Hand?
Dark answer.
Do you know those times when I tell you typically the next day when it was like I was being devil's advocate and then forgot that I was being the devil? Okay.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, but that's
That moment.
okay.
Yeah, we're here.
I redact all of my statements that I made, I guess.
Okay, so I'm actually hearing the
So-
TeamSpeak chime, not the OBS chime. That's what I'm hearing.
And I know that you guys set me up tonight to be the sober one who was just sitting here
Oh,
like, you
minus
know,
10 is
being like,
fixed.
hey, can't we all just be like, you know, copacetic?
Be who what?
Copacetic, man.
Guys,
Fucking
Pandemic
copacetic.
Legion fixed their minus 10.
What do you mean they fixed it? It's like plus 10 now? It's like
It was
negative
really
5?
bad. It was really bad earlier. Oh no, I don't think that's. Never mind.
No.
What?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think
know
I
how
don't think it's
Rain
what you
keeps
think.
going
Anyway.
doing this.
It might have been the worst joke you've ever told.
That was, yeah, I know. It's like
Pretty bad.
yeah, it's really hard here in this fucking moment to like, you know, kind of readapt to like a normalcy kind of a thing. Anyways, could you people out in Twitch just not set not set Rain off? I mean, it's like because when she goes crazy, she goes crazy.
We can't
Y'all
stop
think
her.
they're bad.
People
Y'all
fucking
think
nerd
they're
bull.
Trust me.
bad.
Wait, trust me. When I know Rain, when she goes crazy, it's not a
you're
pretty
not.
picture. Trust me. I have the bruises.
All the bad shit I've ever done was covering for the fact that Rain was about to like get nuts.
Wow.
All that being said, so look, we covered what generally I think happened, you know, out in Pandemic Legion lands and whatever. Oh, I know where I was fucking going before. Now I can't remember if I like actually mentioned. No, I did actually mention it. That he Headliner is a legitimately good player of the game, and you know, yes, he can be a bit brusque at times and like, you know, come across, you know, kind of fucking hardcore. I know a lot of people in this fucking game that fucking do that. I mean, you know, I'm gonna be honest. From an FC standpoint, that's the kind of warrior I want to go to fucking war with, right? I mean, like, there are some people out there that are really fun FCs, and whether you win or lose, it doesn't fucking matter. There are other ones where it's like they can be assholes or they can be completely unfunny or whatever, but as long as they win, you want to fly with them. He's one of those guys where it's like, you know, at the time, at the fucking moment and all that kind of shit. Or when something happens within their particular freaking corp or whatever, they can like bury down on it. I know. And for all you Imperium people out there, it's like, look, I recognize that you want to like, you know, hold that off onto, you know, onto PL. Look, I know guys in fucking Imperium that are just like that. That are those kinds that can snap off at a freaking like moment's goddamn notice, do something and then call it back later, maybe, or not. Okay. This happens everywhere. It's not fucking new. The difference here that I will say is this: the Imperium has better controls over whether or not somebody could de-rig their fucking shit.
Do you though?
Well, see,
Well, as far
The
as we know,
Okay,
as far
here's
as
the
we
thing.
know so far by reports, yes.
Here's the thing, right? Like the roles that he had were simply the same roles that like members of GSOL might have, right? Like to be able to set up a Citadel.
But you don't
you
shit
have
on
to
your
be
people
able
that
to
you know
take.
that are in GSOL.
Don't you?
Well, I mean, you don't without like then immediately after like, you know, cutting their nuts off, like cut their nuts off.
Like
Again.
I don't feel like that's a realistic, like in any other group that treats losses as a thing that
why not?
haze
Shot
someone
time.
over a little bit, right? Like if you
yell at somebody, what you should immediately do is pull their rolls off. Like,
then you should
and
never
then
have
work
given
it out
that person.
afterwards
You should
and be
never
like,
have given
hey,
that
we're
person
cool,
cameras
right?
in the first place.
But that's the reason why you vet these guys ahead of time. You're supposed to
Yeah,
know
you should
whether
never
or
have
not they're
given that guy the
trustworthy.
rolls,
I
right?
just have to cast
So-
the magic.
So
Alright,
here's
shots,
one thing
man.
I'll chime in on this. While you guys take shots, is you talk about you have to have people that you trust. Unfortunately, when you're delegating stuff, it seems as though a paranoid exec cannot do everything on their own. They have to have people they trust. They will take care of things, and so you don't lose your mind. It's not like a second, third job sort of thing.
Right.
So it's like one of those things it's a hit or miss. Me personally, I look for disgruntledness. That's my thing. I see somebody getting shit on consistently. I take that information. I approach. I see what they want to do, how they feel, and sometimes it is just a matter of the luck of the draw. That one day, he got yelled at by his boss. His girlfriend didn't have sex with him or something, and now he got shit on for losing Rockwell. Well, it just so happens you get talked to at that right time, that right moment.
He
the
pops.
Right... Yep, exactly.
Hyper, you know what you're talking about is actually what made me, when I used to do the bit for managing PL's Intel networks, right? Like I found myself more and more often focusing inward because the outward was already covered. Like once I could see everything outside, I kept looking inside. It made me hate people. And the worst part is it made me hate my own alliance. Like I'm constantly looking at, is this
How
guy
do you
a
not
fucking
look at these people and not hate them on a
like?
day-to-day
Well,
basis?
no, it's like I'm
These
now
people
I'm
are
looking
so
at all the
nice.
guys that have been my friends for all these years, and I haven't been paying any attention. But now that I don't have anything better to do, I'm starting to like, is this guy shady? Is that guy shady? What are you
Like,
doing?
let
You
me
look like
pull
an
his logs
emotional
real
ninny.
quick.
Yeah, like I'm calling like
That's what happens when these things happen, though. Everybody
Yeah.
starts questioning.
Well, this
whether
is
or not the
before
folks that
any
they've
of it
given
ever
roles
happened,
to
I
are
guess.
going to turn around and
I-
screw 'em.
I just was like I was so intent on the task, which was managing like what I consider the best Intel network the game's probably ever had. Like I wanted to know everything about everybody, and once I had known, like even Raiden, like when Raiden was a thing, they started acting flaky, and they're like they're supposed to be our friends. First thing I did was like, okay, we got to put a spy on Raiden because they're acting like assholes. I need to know what they're doing all the time. That's where Manny's Titan spy that the goons ended up killing originally came from. Like he was in Raiden for a while watching them, so I could see from the top down. And like
Yeah.
just managing and looking at your own members can make you just make it kills friendships.
Yeah, I can understand that. I remember PL. It was fun and interesting and different at the time. But like, I guess the thing about the Imperium is it is just so giant. Like GSS, I consider myself 72.5 or 72.25% helpful all the time. But that one moment, some guy asked a stupid fucking question, they get my strongly response. But I mean, it's what it boils down to. Are they getting consistently shit on? Something's up, or just life changes. I mean, it can be a matter of somebody you trusted for years to no longer. They're like, "Fuck you, I'm out." Burning it
Yeah,
all
I mean,
down.
4 years.
Right, there's always
And he's a
straw breaks
funny guy.
counter.
Like I feel bad that he's gone. Like I don't want to sound real racist. He's like super Asian sounding. Like he sounds Asian when he talks, but he makes funny ass jokes the whole time. Like he's one of the. I'm gonna miss having him around OG because I know he's not gonna come around. He's not even banned off of other games comms, but I know he won't come around because of the way things went down. And I just don't know what all the other triggers were that led to what happened. And I mean, it is what it is at this point. Shit happened. Got to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's fun being on the other side when you flip somebody and it causes damage, because it's probably as happy as a spike.
He wasn't
get.
flipped though. Like that's the thing. Like
Well, I know. I'm just talking about in general.
he didn't. I mean, I know he's in Goons now because he's got old friends from way back in I think it's Atlas or some shit. Like,
Well, the thing is, like,
but yeah, like
what is the threshold for flipping though? Because like, there's some.
Wait. Whimsical donated $30. Shout out to Whimsical if we all want to do shots. He said because I was crazy.
I just feel like taking a shot. Thanks, Whim. For the $30.
All right, but go on, Dred.
See,
What
these
was
are the moments
what
that
was
make you want to do a
the
shot.
flipping?
But like,
Well,
but just remember for all you people out there, it's like if I'd been doing shots, I wouldn't have been able to stop Rain. I wouldn't have been able to slow her down. Like right
Dirk,
now,
you
we'd be
can't
another
slow me when I'm on the
fucking
phone.
10 minutes
It's
into
like-
Rain
Listen,
going
Dirk,
madness.
just because you think you can manhandle other guys doesn't mean you
No,
can
I'm not saying
manhandle
that. I'm not
me.
saying I can mansplain
No,
you to like back it
there's-
down or
Stop
anything like
talking.
that.
There's no manhandling. This is like it's just common knowledge. You don't step in front of
Guys,
don't step in front of a freight rain.
You're missing something.
Back then I'd have been like, "Fuck you, rain!"
Like when the freight rain runs through, you just let it roll.
Guys, look at the chat. Our friend
The
from
freight rain. I mean,
Flipper friend is here.
Nice.
Who's here?
Huh?
Yoda's here. He's talking to Grath about the flip of the stuff.
Oh,
Wait, who's Watch Me War Song?
What?
Who is what? Moa.
That's
Watch Me War Song.
That's Mortis Angels.
When the freight rain gets going.
When the freight rain gets going, there ain't.
All right, let's hope
you
this
can't
guy.
stop the
I'm gonna
freight
turn down
rain.
his. I'm gonna turn this guy's volume down in case he starts blasting something. But
Well, like I don't hear him.
oh, okay. What
Yeah,
did you
Rendus
say?
is like Dirk.
Like,
if
you
you've been doing
changing
shots,
volume
you
is
and Rain
just
would have been like a
volume on
total
the
feedback
stream.
loop of escalation.
Watch me. What are you doing?
I don't. What are you doing?
What do you mean? Just in general?
Who are you?
Hating on Gloria.
Why is your name not hating on Gloria?
Shut
Yeah.
the fuck up, hating on
Fuck,
Gloria.
okay,
Okay, motherfucker.
Oh no!
You guys
Shit.
do this every week.
See,
every
see,
week.
I know.
Do we do this every week when you
Yeah,
tell us
every
about
week.
it and like
Yes,
we
you
don't
do.
know?
Shit, man, that's all you had to say.
Yeah. So
Damn.
I guess going a little bit into what you guys are talking about, at least how it works within our corporation, no one really has the keys to everything. Everybody kind of has a key to everything, or like a part of it.
One thing.
Cuff passes.
So, I mean, I'm not talking about the alliance. I mean, I do have some alliance privileges, but that's something different. I mean, talking about just as far as like the corporation goes, and those people that do have those keys are basically those people that if they never logged on again, then we kind of wouldn't be much of a corp as far as like, you know, culture wise. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the
Yeah.
problem.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't. Sometimes I just see people that have privileges. Sometimes I just really don't know where these people came from. Which is just kind
he's one of our lead jump freighter pilots. He moved everything. He set up every fucking between him and Vega. They set up every structure pretty much that PL has in space. Like he was on literally every day. He is actually one of the people that you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
without him, the Corp will suffer. The Alliance logistics system will suffer. It'll get absorbed by someone else that maybe hadn't been doing it because he was.
Jesus, loony fucker, another $25.
But
Dude,
like,
thank you.
Me is actually
Holy
one of
shit.
those people.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
I made it weird.
I didn't. Raiden's got to read it. I missed it, but loony fucker, another $25.
I missed it too.
Jesus, dude.
But to Watchme's point, I mean, the bottom line is in any of these groups, if they're going to survive, you have to
Looney's
have
beer.
leadership that can delegate roles to people that they trust.
Yeah,
It takes
you have-
time.
you have to have a
You're always
character-
taking a risk no matter what, regardless of anybody that gets vouched for. You're still taking a risk because you never know what's going to happen with somebody.
I always like to think of all the thefts that happen in Eve as bad character judgment on leadership's part because somebody gave somebody the roles to do that thing. So that's how that usually that's it.
There's a dichotomy in Eve that is always there. We never know what somebody's going to do, a year, 2 years in advance. We just kind of have to have some sort of, and we'll go back to it, a trust fall game. You got to, when you bring somebody in, you kind of have to do the best you can to vet them and understand what they're going to do at that moment. But you never know what they're going to do 2-3 years down the line. I mean, they might be there for 5 days, 6 days, but then they might become a part of an ingrained culture. That's what you want to instill into everybody. And then all of a sudden they just, twist that knife and backstab the shit out of you. You never know. That's the unique thing in Eve. You never know when somebody's going to either be that guy that's going to rep you at the exact same moment that you need it or steal all your shit. And that's why I love this game. And that's
There's
why
a
I'll
huge
never stop
difference
playing this
between
game.
losing your ship because that guy fucking didn't rep you at the
Yep.
and de-rigging your fucking Sotillo.
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen. And that's why this game is so fucking unique.
Look, I'll say
You'll
flat
never
out,
know.
the best thing for me running for CSM so far is I get reps automatically. It's great.
Jesus.
It's weird for me to say it, but I don't believe that what he did was necessarily malicious. And it sounds weird, but he had the ability to do worse. He has a lot of alts. He has a lot of rolls. Like he could have done significantly more damage and that's how my mind is rationalizing what happened as a more of an emotional response than.
See, this is how I feel like
than a malicious
this
response.
is how I feel like
3
Eve
months
is
just
evolving.
resub. Thank you, Shooter.
This is how I
Go
feel
ahead.
like Eve is evolving, right? Like, amongst the number of things that we talk about and, kind of like how players react to things. Like, there was a time when, like, literally, if you had plucked one pubic hair out of Grath's testicular fucking skin, right? Like, he would have gone. He
Okay,
would
can I get
He would have.
That was a pretty hard
He would
visual
have
there.
gone fucking crazy, right? But now he's like, you know what? Look, I believe that there's time when we can all understand how somebody might react. Due to
I'm not in
lifestyle
charge
changes
anymore,
and
Dirk.
all that
It's
kind of
not
shit.
my job to
It's
keep
like-
these people safe anymore. I did it. I
Are you-
did my
are you the
time.
safe
I'm done.
space, Graph, that
I'm
we've
fucking.
gotten on
I
here
don't have
tonight?
to get angry anymore because it's not my place to keep them safe.
I
That's
think the
it.
issue is we all got a bit older and our testosterone dropped. So
Nah, I'm still fucking angry as hell at just about everything.
One fucking hair would have.
I'm
put
still
Grath
trying to
over the
figure out if
edge
it's
years
legal
ago,
for me to have
and
a
all of sudden
megaphone
now
in my
he's like,
fucking car,
Whoa!
so I could just hang out the
Love it.
Can't
window
we all
and yell
just
like,
talk
"Yo,
about
camera."
what might have happened here?
Drayden camera.
Baltimore
What?
represent.
You're not
I love it.
focused. You're not
Your
focused.
camera.
It's not
Oh
my
man,
fault.
dude, I'm up here in Minnesota, and these are the politest motherfuckers. You pull up to a four-way
go. You're
intersection,
good.
you could be there a half an hour
I
waiting
can't
for somebody
deal
to
with that
decide.
shit.
Grath,
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Grath, I came up
So
with a
cute.
really good.
Oh,
I
Minnesota.
came up with a really good idea today because this whole brisk fucking like video thing and like the other videos that people put out in Eve, I think are like really outstanding and whatnot. Like the creativity that people have, but I think that there is something here that can go on. And I told this to Elise today. Okay, what I need is a video that shows kind of like Apothny coming in as an FC
Hold on
and
one
as
second.
kind of a
Actually,
leader, right?
Fuse German scientists proved that
No,
people that
hold on,
express their
hold on.
anger properly live in average
Apothny-
3 years longer
Trying
than
to
you
throw it up.
fucking tight ass motherfuckers that hold it all in.
There you go.
Apothny, okay, coming in as kind of an FC and a leader and things like that, but then being taken under your tutelage to where you make him more aggressive, and then like over the months he becomes much more belligerent and things like that. But then over years, he morphs into Headliner, who then rails against somebody from
Apothny
who
is
lost a
literally the
Rorqual,
nicest male
and then
on
bam,
Earth.
it all comes
It's
down.
not
What you're saying
possible.
is you want Grath.
I want to
to
create a
refilm
movie
Training Day.
that is like about this timeline.
The Apothny is
Fuck?
too nice to taint.
No, I believe that you
I
can
agree.
turn an Apothny into a headliner.
I've been trying.
I think it's possible.
I say the fucking rawest shit humanly possible to him sometimes, and he just, yep.
He's like,
It's nice.
My fetish.
You play Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, I do,
Apothny's a
actually.
good person.
Where you been?
though.
Yeah, he's just a good person. He's a happy, good dude. I would feel
He is.
like he's like.
And I
Bob
was
Mon.
only using him
actually,
because
Bob Mon
he's
is the
so
only other
happy
person that I can
and
equate
has
to
a
that
British
level
accent.
of positivity when you talk to the person. Bob Mon is a happy motherfucker if you ever talk to him. Like he's really happy, he's really positive about life. So is Apothny, and I know Apothny suffers from like some depression and stuff like that, but you never fucking know. Sometimes, like he's pretty open about
Don't
it. Like,
fucking
I
dox people on this.
No, no, he's really open
He's
about it. Like
open,
he's
yeah.
like super open about it.
Don't tell people my
He-
psychological
it's,
shit and whatnot.
It's important. He feels it like
Not
that's one of his
Apothny?
things. It's important for people to talk about it. It makes him feel better. So I mean, like that's legit for him.
Just don't tell
Right.
people
But
about
he's
my
so
psychological
fucking
stuff.
happy about everything. Like if you talk to him, he's like you walk away with a smile. I could get mad at him for sucking. Like he used to want. Okay, so he really wanted to. A couple years
Well,
ago, he
being
really wanted
bad,
to get into
you mean
FC.
being bad.
He really wanted to get into
You have to
FC a
understand
couple
the
years
fucking
ago,
like
and
tribulations that I've gone through here. You can't say
He-
sucking if
he
you
couldn't-
mean
Dude,
bad.
this is about Apothny, not you, okay? You need
Okay,
to
I'm
shut
just
the
saying.
fuck up while we're
He-
talking about the cutest member of EVE Online.
he got.
Wait, who
well,
is
he wanted
that?
to get into
Wait,
it, and he
I
wasn't.
think no.
he
Wait,
wasn't
if we
pushy
want to
enough.
talk about the cutest member, Reload. That dude is fucking
Okay,
cute.
Reload's really cute, but it's Apothny too. Apothny has like that boyish
No,
handsome
I'm all over
look.
Reload. He.
Oh man.
I have a man crush
You know what?
on him.
I love Apothny. I love Apothny. I actually asked him to come on tonight, but he couldn't. But cutest member of EVE Online, I would have to say.
Not me.
Brisk. Come on.
Well,
Say it.
long story short is he
I would
asked
have
me
to
like
say
30 times
Brisk.
to try
I
and
would
get
have to
into
say
it, and I was
Brisk.
getting pretty gruff with him.
I'm
at the
not
end,
even
but he
lying. I
always,
have to say
stopped
Brisk.
because
Like, you know
he
what,
was
Well,
really
you know,
happy.
there is something about Grassbeard. I mean, I
Oh
do
my
like to
God.
stroke
Okay,
Grassbeard.
team. Okay, team.
There's just something about Brisk.
This is the Open Com show, not.
No, we
cutest
got
member
here.
Hold on,
show.
hold on. There's
I
just
know,
something
we
about
just fucking
Brisk.
derailed.
There's something about Brisk.
Although, no. Speaking of
What about
Apothny, he
Manic?
recently released an article
Oh, I'd
about
punch him in the
Hydra.
face.
Hydra. Hydra versus
Hail
Pandemic
Hydra.
Legion, and their Alliance tournament history. So I know the Alliance tournament is coming up in July/August. So those who are interested should check it out. It's on Crossing Zebras. I don't have a link, and even if I did, I couldn't actually link it because Twitch chat. So you guys should check that out.
If we bring Brisk onto the show more regularly, do we all have to dress up more?
Yeah, he brings a certain
dresses
class.
with pockets. All of us.
You kind of
Dresses with
shame
pockets.
us
No,
here.
I'm not saying dresses with pockets. I'm saying
dress the part.
You kind of well, I mean, like you're
I
running
got
for
a
the
closet
politician.
full of
but
shit
If you were
that I have not
CSM, would you
worn
vote
on,
for
like, you
female
know,
clothing with
this
pockets?
You're.
I kind of want to dress up. Should we do a night
Next
where we
week is
dress up?
togas.
That would be good. You guys all get in suits.
I'll
wear a
dress up.
tuxedo, so I'm
Wait,
still
I won't be
dressier
here
than
next
that.
weekend.
See, that'd be bullshit, bro.
Damn, that'd be fucking
Because
low.
actually, if you come black tie to a non-black tie event, that's still totally fucking underclass. Like you're
It's
trying
always-
to.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
how
It's
do you
always
know
okay
we're
to
gonna
be
go black tie or
overdressed.
not?
It's only bad when you're underdressed.
Depends how overdressed you are, though.
What if I go in like
DJ Kermit? You have a link for me. Where do you send
What
it?
if I go with like the 1400s,
in
like
game, or
frilly
you
lace
can do
poof
it at
shirt?
dirkmcgurk@gmail.com.
Kikumu says open comms prom.
Oh my god! Oh, you guys fucking laugh! Tomorrow's prom night for
man.
Mrs.
Oh my God,
for
Turkey,
McGurk
are you gonna
Jr.
post pictures? Are you gonna post pictures of her
do
dress?
not
Let's do it. Let's
I
do
will.
it.
I
Post
will
pictures, post
after
pictures.
tomorrow.
Dirk,
Yes.
you gotta
All right,
put on
so-
a-
After
Guys, she's
tomorrow.
over
She has an
18.
Don't do this to him.
amazing dress. Her dress last year was
Oh man, I thought you were
absolutely
going somewhere
one of the
totally different with that.
most amazing dresses I've seen.
Yeah.
All right,
But
so
this year, actually, this year's not as good. Don't tell her. Okay, but it is still really way high fucking caliber.
Well, wait. Does her dress have pockets, Dirk?
No, Rain, no.
Dirk, come on. You
Rain.
need the best for your daughter, and you didn't get her a dress
Oh.
with pockets.
Wait a minute.
'Cause she doesn't
Avalon.
have to
Wait,
carry a
wait,
wallet
wait.
with her.
Avalon has
She's
the
got a
best
man.
idea.
She has
We
a
go-
purse with her chapstick and like a mirror and like her credit card.
She's not rolling chapstick, Rain. It's like-
Avalon has the best idea. Open comms drag night.
Oh,
I'm there.
My God. Oh, dibs.
Can you imagine how much fun that would fucking be? And why would we not
Avalon
do
wants
that
to
in
make
Vegas?
sure that I'm never
Why
elected
would
to
we
anything
not
ever again.
do the open com show on Thursday night in Vegas as drag night?
Because it takes too much makeup, and Dirk at Vegas, you're
No.
always stressed.
Well,
my
no,
God.
hold on.
You
Hold
and
on.
I
am
will
stressed.
both
Rain-
be sleeping
I
that
can
night.
be I can be a stressed woman too. I can
Rain,
do it.
Rain,
I can
Rain.
play it off.
Wait,
Oh my God,
Rain.
your wife would be so mad.
Rain. Blaster Masterson is
I
apparently
feel like
the
I'd
best.
be that fat woman though. And
He
I don't
is
want
the
to be
best
her.
origin director. Is that who you're talking
Wait,
about?
no, he
Wait.
told you to. Okay, so he's the best origin director, but hold on. He showed me how to do the best boob contouring with makeup.
Yeah, that is possible. For men who don't know, women can put makeup on their chest to make their boobs look bigger.
But can men
If
do
men were
makeup?
smart, men would
So you
wear
would put like
well,
dark
don't you
shadow
say
in
women.
between your
But-
cleavage or
men were
something?
smart, men could make themselves look better too if they were
But,
makeup,
hold on.
For some reason, that's like
They
only
can
girls.
also put it on
Wait,
their
wait, wait,
cleavage
wait.
and make that
Can-
look
You guys
better.
think I don't have makeup on?
Can men?
Did-
I hope you do if you're on camera. If you were on camera,
Wait, my
on
face
your
is
YouTube
yellow
video,
tonight. Come on.
You better have makeup on.
Wait,
Look at the
wait,
way his
Rain,
face
Rain.
doesn't shine.
Wait,
Look at the way
wait,
his
My
Rain.
face doesn't
testosterone
shine.
levels are so
Rain,
high
Rain.
that
'Cause he's
the actual
Lazarus
material
tolerating
that's
his face.
makeup
Can-
all made
Lazarus.
of, like,
Wait,
There's
wait,
the
how-
old man, dude.
Shut up, Grant.
Can men do boob contouring?
Yes.
It's
Men
it's
can do
10:45
junk
Eastern
contouring.
Standard Time.
Wait,
We've
dick
got 15
contouring?
minutes left of the show,
Yes.
and I want to say this.
Does it
I
make it
wanna
look
say
bigger?
I know
Well,
you
yeah,
want to
that's
talk.
the
I know
point.
you want to talk about
Say
fucking
something.
makeup.
Oh,
I'm gonna sit there and talk about
I got
how
my problem
Sci-Fi
solved for
fucked
life.
The Expanse is the
Wait.
last
TV
season of
time!
The Expanse on
TV
Sci-Fi.
time!
TV
Okay,
time.
so
Okay,
wait,
TV
so
time.
TV time. Do we have a video for
This
TV
is
time?
the last season of The Expanse on Sci-Fi.
All
They're
right.
So
cutting
sad.
it
Everyone
to
tells
third
me to keep
season,
drinking.
which apparently ends in July. Okay,
So
and they are
we have
shopping
shots
it
from
around.
Rosemuffin,
They're shopping it
The
around.
Tough, and then Incumin. We all need to do shots. I don't know why people want me to do shots.
That's disappointing.
Well,
I
hey,
like the
wait a
show.
minute. I want to do a shot. And here's the
Shots to
dedication.
Iowa?
Lulu. Everybody knows Lulu, right?
Yeah, Lulu.
So-
Everyone loves Lulu.
So she had the
Lulu.
cutest damn bunny in the universe. And this
Oh, no,
damn
it's
bunny
a
was so
sad
cute.
Shot.
It's a sad shot. I don't want to bring this down for a second, but let's do a shot for Lulu's bunny.
Lulu's a good member of the community. Shots for Lulu.
Shit.
Bought it.
Seriously.
Died so young.
Yep.
I'm gonna be
Gone
honest.
too
The
soon.
rest of this beer is to the last fucking donation giver, but that fucking beer over there will be to that dear bunny.
Yes.
Hold on. She
Man, I hope somebody picks The Expanse up. That sucks. That's a good show.
She
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to, she came home. Her bunny was sick, and she had to take it to the vet and then had to put it down. It's so fucking sad. But back to the fucking Expanse.
The Expanse. Here we go.
You had a
Somebody's
rabbit.
gonna
You
pick
let a
it up.
rabbit in
There's
your
no
house?
way they're not going to pick it up.
It has to be picked up. Come on. That
At least
show
by
is pretty damn
Netflix.
good.
Netflix alley.
Here's one of the problems, right? That is probably a show that has an expense level to it that is not what? That is not
Automod got my message.
like
What's the
Really, you
expense? They
think
built
it's
all
got
the sets,
fucking
everything's
one
done.
just reality television type shit, right? Like there's actual like, you know, effects that are involved with it, right? You know, there's a cast involved and like, you know, they've also got like spaceship effects and stuff. This stuff is not as cheap as like during doing a show that we're going to talk about in a
Almost
little while,
entirely
Eve
computer
Jersey Shore
generated.
Family Reunion, right? Like it's not quite the same thing.
Although Jersey Shore Family
gotta pay
Reunion
for it.
is running.
No, hold
Which
on. We
is-
are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that in a moment.
Okay,
Just,
okay,
let's not link the two of them together, other than the fact that
They're reality shows.
there is fucking costs that are involved
The
with that.
Expanse is a
Space
reality show?
reality
I'm telling you right now,
show.
Sci-Fi Channel sadly brought The Expanse on at a time when they were talking about how they wanted to reclaim the whole fucking like they were without Battlestar Galactica for a while, right? They were trying to reclaim that genre of things out there, and they did it. They brought in The Expanse, which I think would be their premiere show. They brought in Dark Matter. They brought in Killjoys. These were
Yeah,
the
they
space-
canceled Dark Matter.
They were the space-oriented shows, right? Then they fucking canceled Dark Matter in the past year.
The
And
Sci-Fi
now
Channel
all of a
sucks
sudden
dicks,
they're
that's the
fucking
problem.
canceling their premiere show, which is The Expanse.
Well, I think it's what's going to happen is, I was reading an article that the Expanse they own all the sets, they own all the costumes, all that stuff. So there's really nothing really more than just finding a new home. So
Exactly.
it's just a
Well,
matter
there
of,
was more to it. If you actually read the stuff out there, it had to do with the rights that Sci-Fi owned. That apparently Sci-Fi was only making money off of the stuff that was watched at the time it fucking aired, or something along these lines. All of the stuff that was watched after the fact, okay, was not going to them. So all the streaming rights and stuff like that was apparently not in their in their part of the ownership, which nowadays, because nobody can watch anything with like commercials and shit like that. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, well, who was the dumb motherfucker that signed that contract? The Expanse hasn't been around that long. Nobody's been watching shit live for years.
2018, companies not understanding technology and consumerism.
Wait,
What a
wait, wait,
fucking
wait, wait.
Yeah,
You
but
said,
every week when the day it
okay.
comes out, I cancel good shows.
Blast
this
them.
is like what they do.
Last time you just gifted Chisumi a sub.
I did.
For 72 years.
Is that like
No.
You should check your credit card, bro.
Oh
Roll
shit,
that
my
shit
bottle
back.
right now. Good thing I have another. Oh.
Oh, that would be really fucking funny, right? If somebody granted somebody a fucking INN subscription for 72 years.
Is that possible?
Damn,
Twitch?
I
I don't
don't
think
think
it's
I don't think they let you.
I think I have the equivalent of 20 years of Z Killboard free
I
ads.
don't
'cause,
think
what I did the other
Twitch.
day.
I don't think Twitch allows you to gift a sub for more than 1 month at a time.
Yeah, you can only do up to tier 3.
Drayden,
Yeah.
Drayden, we want
Yes.
people to think that crazy shit's possible. That's what this show is about, man.
Well, everything's possible, just not
Don't
with the
fucking pull
just
down
not
the
with
fucking
the
curtain.
programming right now, Dirk. But at the same time, I'm doing a shot for Blaster Masterson, my bro. Because
Current CEO of Black Legion.
he might be. Nobody knows who runs Black Legion.
He is second in command. He's the best director we have in Black
Yeah,
Legion.
but who's the director right now? Like, nobody knows who's in charge of Black Legion right now.
Tiana's
Tiana's the CEO.
Is it that guy that went to Black
so
Legion
she's in charge.
to Pandemic
Oh
Legion a few years ago?
shit! Okay, so
So yes, Amras is the guy who stole from Penef and Israd. And he
Yes.
is currently trying to make amends to poor Penef.
Okay,
so if
so-
anyone
so-
wants to message Penef Smash and game
Oh, hold on. Nobody's messaging Penef.
SMASH,
Penef.
they should
Does
let
he-
him know
does
that,
anybody
that
call him Penef?
Amras, Penef,
we all
Penef,
call
Is
him.
that,
Penef.
is that
It's
what
one or
people
the
call
other.
him?
Penef.
They call him Penef?
We all call him.
Penis.
Well, I call him
They
penis.
They call him
but
Penef, right?
I call
I,
Penis.
I call him
BP
penis.
Elo Knight just
Oh.
subscribed.
Elo Knight just
Elo.
Wait, Hating
my
on
man.
Gloria. Hating on Gloria gifted it.
Oh.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Glory
was that out of dutiful dedication or
to Origin Comms? Welcome to Origin Comms, Elo.
Yes,
Glad to
welcome
have
to
you.
Origin Comms, Elo. Like it's
Elo
a thing.
said he didn't like my my video. I was very sad about
What?
that local today.
Holy shit! Fucking Elo.
He is
you
a
goddamn
Canadian, though, so
Canadian.
he's
He's fucking Canadian.
I'm gonna have
Was
to
he
have.
at from Canada?
I'm gonna have to have
That guy,
words.
that guy would steal spiced rum from a Vegas hotel suite.
No, he would send goons for that. He sends missions like, wow, you just you send your followers to do your duty work. But I'm gonna have to say, well, I'm gonna have to have
If
words
Elo
with
does
my
not
former
come to Vegas
CEO.
and every night of the fucking week wear a fucking flannel shirt, it's gonna be weird.
Actually, do you guys want to see my Origin shirt that I got from FanFest?
Why aren't we talking about fucking TV shows? We're in TV time.
Well, all right. So Expanse is gone. Unfortunately, what else is gone?
Oh, I was getting a shot. Blaster.
Oh yeah,
Brooklyn
shots.
99 is gone, and here's my Origin
No,
shirt.
hold on.
If you guys
Somebody
want
said
to join
Brooklyn
Origin,
99 is gone, but you know what? Who the
No.
fuck watched Brooklyn 99? Honestly,
Yeah, I never
saw-
watched that.
After
shit.
all these years of
I saw one
shows
episode.
that were about New York or Chicago with a number
Was it-
after it, who watched that shit?
I never watched that.
I
one.
saw one episode.
The one I
and that
do
was
watch.
enough. That was
The
enough.
one I'm watching right now is Westworld. Oh my god,
Westworld
is
is
No spoilers,
unbelievable.
no
fucking
spoilers.
crazy. Okay,
You guys gotta watch
Westworld is
Altered
crazy.
Carbon, too.
Look. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Altered Carbon.
HBO has a whole fucking thing about how like we have to have shows that are really fucking cool, and women are completely at the fucking center of it. Game of Thrones, right?
Yes,
Game of
yes.
Thrones is one of those. Okay? Westworld is the other one. Westworld is the modern fucking Game of Thrones of like, holy shit, bitch is kicking everybody's ass.
Well, I don't see. Westworld's
really
not
bad.
like a what is that? Dystopian? fuck.
Dystopia.
No, it's not.
Dystopia,
It's crazy
thank you.
bitches with guns and
Dystopia
knives
for society.
and
It's a
everything
virtual
else.
reality world of just being out there and being. Oh my god, I'm really scared of these main characters. Like they're gonna fucking rip my legs off.
Well, hold on. I
Guys,
just
wait, have we lost hope for Firefly?
I just got word.
now, or-
Well,
Yeah,
Firefly's
Yeah, Firefly got
Like,
canceled a
15
number of
years,
years
okay.
ago. I'm
They're
very
all
sorry
too
about
old
that.
now.
Firefly
It
is one of
doesn't
those like, you know what? It's like it had promise. They released the episodes in the wrong order, which hurt it, and then it died. But now, what is it? Nathan Fillion? He wanted to buy the franchise to Firefly. They wouldn't sell it to him. Fox wouldn't do it. Fox finally sold the franchise. I think I might be wrong, but I heard they've sold the franchise.
I typed a response
Firefly,
to someone
but
saying
it's
yes,
so
and
old.
Automod got it.
It's so old, but I don't know if it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah,
It
but
won't
you know,
be.
Joss
Well,
Whedon
they
has done a really good job of himself now in other
But
series.
here's the thing:
so-
Joss Whedon's so
Yeah, for
busy
real.
with the Avengers, was like, lines his
Do you guys
pockets with
accept my
billions of dollars.
automated message saying yes, please?
Yes.
Yes, please. What?
I typed yes and it automated.
What's the yes
Everyone,
for?
can everyone type yes in Twitch chat
What's the
because
yes?
it got.
No, we're not
Responded
fucking
to
ho
someone.
I want to know what I'm voting yes
Why
for.
don't they get automated? What the fuck, Twitch chat? Just because I say whore in real life doesn't mean I say whore in Twitch chat.
But did you?
Okay,
I just want
think it's
everybody
time
out
we
there
need
in
to cut
Reddit
Rain
chat
off.
to know that I have never said horror as many times as Rain has.
Yeah, she's
Shut up, Dirk, you
Can
whore.
confirm.
she's kind of like a horror like.
Dirk, if you're a whore, then you
Expulsion.
can call other people
No,
whores. That's how it works.
Look, just because
Tell
you
them
brought
what
up
it
something
is.
that
Wow.
just
Did
talk
not
about
want
something
to bring
about
Firefly
this.
Black. I just
The-
met Summer Glau last month in
The
Atlantic
way
City.
I said that,
I think that's true.
the way
That's
I
awesome.
Yeah.
okay, the way I said that came out wrong, and I have to.
All that being said, Westworld, what?
I feel like I have to
Westworld's
redeem
fucking
it
awesome.
myself because I didn't mean what I said. Like,
Did you call me a whore?
no.
Did you
What?
say Westworld?
Reddit.
Okay.
Reddit. We're going to
So
Reddit.
the thing about Westworld, I think it's neat is the
Okay,
relationship.
everyone knows that.
You kind
I
of do
didn't
whatever you
anyway.
want.
Brisk
you-
is showing his pussy on stream.
Where? What's link it,
It's
please?
cute pussy.
It's right there.
And
look
it's
how
not back
cute
on
it
his
is.
fucking chair, like
Link-
where
link
most
it.
pussies
Co-pilot,
are
he's
behind
pretty
you
hairy.
and
Up
to
in
the
my
right.
lap.
Link,
Reddit.
please. Link, please. I need link.
CSM candidate shows.
I mean, you need a
you
fucking
know,
link.
genitalia
Oh, no.
on
Literally
screen.
on
Gotta show that
fucking
pussy
Skype,
for the
motherfucker.
votes, you guys.
Well, I mean, I could go to like whatever site for like the general.
You're
I
on
need,
Skype.
I need this
You don't need-
specific.
I know, right? Like, Can I Has Cheeseburger has so many pussies on it.
Wait, is that a thing? What?
Anyways.
My jokes are too
right now, I
so,
feel like you
this
guys
was a
are
cat
Matteralling
joke.
me. You're
This is a
trying to
meme
make
joke.
it seem
I'm
like,
so sorry.
hey, it's not just Dirk that's crazy. It's us too. Okay, it's like you guys don't have to front for me. Okay,
I'm just glad.
I don't know what fucking meeting / picnic you guys had earlier this week to sit there and say,
oh, it
you know
was
what?
dirty.
Let's make ourselves look as crazy as fucking Dirk. Okay, it's like, just relax. Just back it back a bit. Back a bit.
I'm just glad my
even I'm sitting here going, shit, that's not me.
I'm just glad my porn site doesn't troll me, because it doesn't.
It's like your posting is not good enough to enter.
Stop! I was making a cat joke. I wasn't talking about porn. Like, come
I
on,
know,
you
but
guys.
everybody says that when they say pussy, but they know we don't mean that.
Animals. We were talking about zoos earlier. Come on.
I was not thinking animals. I was thinking something else.
All that being said, what about the Jersey Shore?
Gym Tan Laundry.
Gym Tan Laundry.
I remember I had a law final exam question that asked about the Jersey Shore, and I got an A+ on the test because I mentioned GPL.
You know what? I've really felt bad, like, for everybody related to Jersey Shore, except for number one, Paulie D, okay, and Sammy, because Sammy said, "Fuck this shit. I got a fucking life." Okay, Paulie D though. Paulie D is straight up like has made millions off this shit. Everybody else is fucking like, I'm gonna call it middle class Jersey Shore shit, right? You know, it's like not middle class American because they've got like millions attached to their name, but like everybody else is just like nowhere near raking in what Paulie D does. When I was out at fucking Vegas last year, it's like Paulie D had a fucking place. Okay, when I was out at fucking Atlantic City, Paulie D had a fucking place. It's like Paulie D has got shit all year fucking long. All these other bitches, it's like that fat fucking guy that calls himself Ronnie or whatever his name is.
Yo, like, Ronnie's got happy feet. What's wrong with Ronnie?
No, it's like, look.
He has a wife who cheated on him with a baby mama.
I understand that you were like 12 years old when Jersey Shore first came out and
college.
shit like that.
Thank you very much, Dirk. Sorry.
Okay, that being said, it's like Jersey Shore, just for people out there who want to know about the fucking Jersey Shore. That was the fucking northern Jersey Shore. That was like Long Beach Island and further fucking north. Okay.
What's wrong with LBI?
Like Canada?
You know what's wrong with LBI? It's like part of the northern Jersey Shore. Southern Jersey Shore is like, it might as well be fucking like, you know, kind of Virginia, but with an Italian accent.
So with a minute left,
start with me.
You guys want to do shots and do shout-outs? Anyone have shout-outs? Brisk, Graph,
Just
Hyper
saying,
Viper,
you know,
I have a shout-out.
I'm gonna throw this out there for fucking like Jersey Shore. It's like, yeah, fuck it. Snooki's mouth is fucked up. It's like whatever. You know, it's like people get older, they get fucking like, you know, like work done to their face.
It's plastic surgery.
Carrie Underwood gets 30 stitches in her
give
face.
Give it out to Brisk so he can throw something out there. I'm just saying. It's
I
like, you know, Jersey Shore's our youth Eve players. This is who we grew up with.
I want to give a shout out to Fane Industries who gave me my endorsement today. They are one of our renters and Imperium Associates. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Shout out to Amras for being best director in Origin.
Hey,
Cypher, Grab, Hyper Viper.
Second, but whoa, no, whoa. Wait, no, wait. I just realized what you said. I retract my statement. You said Amras.
Yeah.
You thought he said
That's
Amras?
Blaster. Amras and Blaster are the same person.
Oh.
What up? All I gotta say is later, bitches.
Okay. Then yes.
Later, bitches.
I thought Amras and Blaster were two different. Like they sound different.
Can't you just think later, bitches?
I'm saying, all right, later, bitches. Good night. Thank you.
Later, bitches.
Good night. If you want to defect, talk.
Have a good evening, everyone.